VG Adams.
VJ Adams.
VG Adams, sorry.
Okay.
Okay. So yesterday was actually really nice. We had VG Adams, we had Odin Gallo, and we had as he said, Miss Omoni. So VG Adams talked about being real, always working hard, and that your efforts would eventually get you fame, and that you shouldn't do irrelevant things because they always stay online and they never get off the net because like everything that goes on the net stays on the net. So yeah, that's basically what VJ Adam said.
We
Yeah.
also had Odion Gallo who talked about being passionate about what you want to do, never give up, and even if you don't have people who don't support you like for what you want to be or what you want to do, you fight for it if you are passionate about it. We also had Mrs. Omowumi Agubiade. She talked about healthy relationship and leaving toxic relationship. If you are in any relationship that you feel isn't like going well with you, you end it. So, or
Yeah.
who was your favorite speaker yesterday?
Igalo.
Can you tell me what you learned from Mr. Igalo?
He talked about his journey from Ghana to China, Italia, Saudi Arabia. He talked about a lot, and he also made us understand that we should always put our faith in God. Everything depends on God.
So actually, there's something Odionigalu said that is very important that like nobody has said so far. He talked about humility. We should be humble in all we do because like being humble really takes you far. And he said that he has realized that at like our age, when we get fame and we get money, we seem to like go off, lose regard, lose respect. We don't start to listen to people anymore. So humility is actually really key if you want to progress, and that's what he taught us yesterday.
Miss Sarah, who was your favorite speaker yesterday?
Miss Omomi, she talk about relationship, how we can help our relationship, and if we don't have a healthy relationship, we should just end it, and how we can help our relationship, and why are you in a relationship.
That's cool. So today we're going to be having three speakers. We're going to have Kafi, Dr. Kafayat Shafau Ame Kafi. We're going to have Miss Ogochi Obido. So Miss Ogochi Sha. We're going to have JJ Omojua. So we're going to have those three speakers coming in today. So we like to appreciate our brands, our supports. Like we have behind us, we have Right, we have Taiwo Akinlami Academy, we have
Wema Bank PLC.
we have Wema Bank, we have City of David,
We have Taiwo Akin Kumi,
Taiwo Akinlami Academy, like I stated earlier. Our entire team, our entire media team, our volunteers, and the entire participants, all nationwide. You guys watching us right now, we really appreciate your
Efforts.
yeah. So and also you guys shouldn't forget to follow us on social media, YouTube, Instagram at Focus Counseling, YouTube Focus Counseling with 1L. Yeah. So
and
you guys
Instagram with Focus Counseling with 2L.
WL, yes. You guys should subscribe, like, comment, and share. Drop your comments, they are really important. We need you guys to like participate today. So we won't just be talking. We would like to hear from you also.
Yeah, interaction.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, just drop it in the comment box. I will ask.
So we'll go on a short break right now. We'll be right back. So see you soon. Bye. welcome back. Nice having you again. So you guys don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. At Focus Counseling with one L, Instagram Focus Counseling with double L, and yes, that's basically all. So we would like to share like our experiences of the program so far. Like how has it been? So who start first?
I'll start first. I've got to say, this program has been wonderful. I'm sure so many of you have already decided we want to be from the different speakers we've had on the various days. I've got to say, I've learned a lot from our different speakers. I mean, the experience is wonderful. Some people don't have this opportunity, so I think you guys should take this opportunity seriously. So I'm going to ask Ore. Ore, how has your experience been?
Doing great. I learned more about what I want to be in future, and I got to know more about career.
How was your experience in the Life Center been? Like your day-to-day activities
It
at the Life
was
Center?
great and really talked about plan A and plan B. And that plan A means once you plan that you want to become a medical doctor in future and that doesn't work out, so in future you can have plan B and turn to lawyer or anything like that. So I learned a lot.
That's wonderful. Did you make any new friends at the Life Center?
Yes. I make a lot of friends from other school. It was fun.
Can you
Great.
mention some of them like do shout out?
Yeah, like Ayade Hester, like
Mm.
Anna, Miriam,
Shout out to Ayo Ade Esther.
Esther.
She sees you. So so how has your experience been?
It has been so great. I thank God, and it has been lovely. As in, I've made new friends and so many things. I've learned so many things. It has even impacted things in me.
Okay, so like do you have any key thing that has really struck you since you have been here like in this program?
It has really, like, the key thing that shocked me is you have to have a plan B and plan C in case your plan A didn't work. You have to move on and be focused.
So like we talked about vision board. Miss Abimbola talked about setting a vision board. Have you like started or tried to set a vision board?
Yeah, I've been trying to set a vision board, but I've seen to that, Sha.
Okay, so you said you have met some friends. Can you mention some of them?
I've met Victor. I've met Ire.
Victor and Yuri. That's cool. That's nice. So what else?
Since you said that you liked all our speakers since Monday, have you been able to decide what you want to be in the future?
Yeah, I've decided what I want to be in the future.
What's your plan A and plan B, like you said?
My plan A is to become a lawyer, and my plan B is to invest in like to be a bank investor or bank blocker.
Okay, so
Stock program.
so actually in this program, something has really changed my mindset. Before I came to this program, I thought being an art student, apart from law, I didn't know. I actually love doing technical stuffs, getting into editing, doing technical stuffs like communication, broadcasting. So like when I chose arts at first, there was someone in my uncle's office, Miss BC. So she was like, you will need like science or something. At first, when I was choosing my course, but like I just realized that I actually can do other things apart from being a lawyer with art. So that has really like changed my mentality and made me realize that art is not like that's useless. It's useful, very very useful. Like I thought. So that actually changed my mentality. So what else is that?
I've also learned during this program that going into mass communication, there are so many other opportunities for you. Instead of being a newscast or going to journalism, there are other offices you can work. You can even work at a bank, admin in their social media platforms, helping them do other stuff. So like there's so many opportunities in the different occupations you want to choose.
So and also readers are leaders. So anything you do, try to always develop your mind, not just spend time on video games or texting or dripping. Just like try to research, build your mind, learn more, be more knowledgeable, like get more information into your mind. Don't just be there, always be up to date. So I've actually learned that. So I think we'll go on a short break right now. So see you guys. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. So while we're on a short break, Miss Sarah had something she wanted to share with us. So
Never forget to always add library. This really improve your vocabulary and help you in your writing skills. And
so actually that was nice. So reading, as I said, readers are leaders. So the more you read, the more you get improvement in your writing skills, in the way you think. It widens, like it expands your imagination. It makes you become much more creative. It gets you updated, and so those are like basic features of reading. Yeah. So
Yeah, while we're also on that short break, Ore says she also has something to say.
yeah, when we're in the life center, Mr. Kazim usually tells us some things that we should expect the unexpected because you don't know what you're expecting in future. So I just want to remind all of you to expect the unexpected. And also yesterday, Miss Omi told us some things about relationship. She said that you she said something that is so strange and really touched my heart. She said, if the relationship is not complicated, you have to leave it. But there's something very important that some people are not getting right. Some of my friends came to me and like, oh, what is she saying? But she was right. If the relationship is not complicated, you have to adjust because that can commit that can make you commit suicide and so on. So that can cause depression. So that's what I have to tell you.
I've got to say that's very wonderful. We're missing a lot at the life center. Now we're going to go on the short break, and while we're on the short break, I'm going to play an inspirational video for you guys to encourage you. Then our chief moderator is going to come in and introduce our next speaker, Kathy.
I would. For me, it has been the to be that guy that does what people say can't be done, you know. And I think it started with trying to please my mother and trying to please my grandmother, and they always wanted higher for me. They always wanted more for me, and it got to the point that I wanted to be something. I wanted to be somebody, and it made me choose certain roles. It made me turn down certain roles. There is more than an image that I want to project. I want to be the person that is the first person there and the last person to leave. That's who I want to be, because I think that the road to success is through commitment and through the strength to drive through that commitment when it gets hard. And it is going to get hard, and you're going to want to quit sometimes, but it'll be colored by who you are and more who you want to be. I definitely found that wanting to be an actor stems from wanting to be somebody.
My mom wanted me to be a truck driver because that would mean I'd make $24,000 a year if I went to Truck Masters, and that would be twice what my father made. And she thought that would happen, but something inside of me said, I don't want to drive a truck. There's something else that matters more to me. And I decided I was not going to go for money instead of passion. And the rewards have been pretty amazingly better than being a truck driver. It's not bad being a truck driver, it's just not what I was after. And I look back, and one of the things that helped me was my original teacher, Jim Rohn, who's a personal development speaker I went to hear when I was 17. He said something the first time I heard him, and he said, you know, it's really simple. If you want life to change, you got to change. If you want life to be better, you've got to get better. It's the only way it happens. And luck will show up for people and it'll leave them. But if you're constantly improving who you are and what you give, game over.
See if you can find some ways to multiply your value to the marketplace. And he said your income will immediately start to change.
See, if you go through life holding back, and most of us do, most of us, if we ask ourselves, have we done all we can do? Most of us will have to answer, no, we haven't. We've been holding back. We have ideas that we don't act on, things we want to do. We're afraid to take chances. We go through life trying to seek security and not coming outside of our comfort zone. And we take most of our stuff with us to the grave.
Up until then, I was hoping that the economy would change. I was hoping that my company would change. I was hoping that my paycheck would change. I was hoping that circumstances outside would change. And then here's what I found out. It isn't going to change. So then my question was, if it isn't going to change, how will my life ever change? And here's what my teacher taught me. When you change, everything will change for you.
And I'm saying that the fact that you're still here, that you're still breathing, you've got some more work. And you owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself. So when you get up in the morning, that you can look yourself in the face and say, hey, I'm living my life on my terms.
Change your question, change your life. When it comes to planning your life, I want to get you to learn to ask 3 questions now. The question you want to ask yourself is, what do I want? What's my outcome? What's my result? The word RPM, the first one, is to get you focused on the target. The target is not the activity. The activity can change. It's what's the result I'm after. If you know exactly what it is you really want, what you desire, what you're really after, clarity is power. The more clear you are and specifically what you want, the faster your brain can get you there. But if you're generally saying things like, what do I want? Well, I want more money. Fine, here's $1, get out of here. Whether you get the outcome or not, whether you get that result, will be based first, do you have clarity? And the second thing is whether you got enough emotional juice to keep going after it when things don't work out. Did you achieve the outcome? Yeah, when you're that general, you think you're not getting your goal, you are. The way you language your goal, the way you think about it, you're receiving it. I want to feel a bit better. I want to lose some weight. Fine, you lost a pound, you're done.
When you get better, everything will get better for you. And that's where I picked up that phrase, for things to change, you've got to change. You don't have to change the marketplace. You don't have to change the marketing plan. You don't have to change the economy. You don't have to change countries. You don't have to change circumstances out there. All you've got to do is look within and see if you can change yourself for the better. And as you change, things will start to change for you.
What's the result I'm after? What's the ultimate result? What do I want out of this week, out of this thing, out of my business, out of my life, for my body?
Don't concern yourself too much with how you're going to achieve your goal. Leave that completely to a power greater than yourself. All you have to do is know where you're going. The answers will come to you of their own accord.
Here's my best advice. Welcome all experiences. You never know which one is going to turn everything on.
Are there going to be some moments when you want to give up? Yes. Will there be some moments when it's going to seem like it's impossible? The pain that you're experiencing, the disappointment that you're experiencing, that you're going to say, it's not worth it? Yes, that's going to be right there for you. It's going to be in your face, telling you to go back.
When we think about changing our lives,
Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Raphael Ezike. They call me Don Ralph. I guess you guys have enjoyed today's session already, right? Our teenagers already started and kicked things off. Hope you guys enjoyed Ore, Mezurat, Ayo, and Sheyi. Great interactions from those teenagers. And Kathy will be joining us soon live. And I know she would have loved to speak with them, but hopefully during the course of the session, they will come back to take questions and Kathy can interact with them. But straight up now, we're going straight to Kathy. I don't know, is she online now? All right, Kathy is ready to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's give it up for Kathy. Yay! So, Kathy is on now. But before then, I would just like to read her profile. Most of us know Kafi now, Abi, the dance machine, the dance queen, Nigeria's best dancer. But let's take a look at her profile. So her name is Dr. Kafayat Shafau Ame. Okay, you can find her on Instagram at Kafi Dance. Kafi is a Nigerian dancer, choreography dance instructor, and fitness coach. She is also the founder and owner of a Magneto Dance Company. She's best known for pursuing her goal and dreams in different spheres of life, one of which is breaking the Guinness World Record, yes, for the longest dance party at Nokia Silverbird Danceathon in 2006. I remember that one quite well. It was great. I mean, they had to dance overnight. Like, it was really, really, really fun to watch. Kafi is a highly committed individual to social change and youth development, a life-changing storyteller, a motivator who derives fulfillment in inspiring children, teenagers, and adults to be the best version of themselves. Today, she'll be discussing on the topic, understanding and developing your talent. So if you are a teenager out there burning with passion, burning with a lot of desires and trying to understand and know how to develop your talents, this is for you. So make sure to stay tuned. Bring your notepads ready as we introduce Kafi. Kafi, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me? Good morning.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. It's really exciting
Let me
to
put
be
my
here.
phone on landscape so that we can. Okay, can you hear me loud and clear? Hello,
yes,
everybody.
I can.
How are you?
I can.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today. I'm so happy to be here. You know, I'll always want to do this 1,000 times over.
Yeah, sure. We know you know. So how's this morning going?
It's great. We're great. Thank you very much. It's the hectic period, but I'm grateful to God for the opportunity to do what I'm doing.
Okay, thank you for taking this time in your busy schedule to attend to our teens, and I believe it's going to be an inspiring one. So, not to waste the time, so please guide us through and our teenagers on how they can understand and develop their talents. But before that, maybe you just, give us a brief background of yourself, and then we can start things off.
Okay, a big brief background. Like I'd love if you're specific on what part of the background. Is it the professional background or growing up in Nigeria as a teenager background? Which background do you
Yes,
want?
exactly. This program is for teenagers, so something about your teenage life, how you started this journey from a teenager and all that.
Okay. So, first of all, I'm sure a lot of young people can relate with the idea of your parents already pre-planning your life for you in terms of what they hope you are or what they hope you become, their pride and joy, what to bring the family, that great name, sustain the name, a legacy, and all of that. So I think that is something that an average Nigerian, average African child, or child globally would relate with. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, the young voices are not allowed to be loud until a certain age that's usually too late in the world standard. So I grew up in a family where there are expectations of, what are you going to become when you grow up? Doctor, lawyer, mechanic. You understand? So, and being, a well-read and, excellent grading child in school, the least profession, in fact, I won't call it the least profession they thought I would choose. It's not even in the list of considered least profession. Dance. And I told my parents I want to dance. It looks like, are you kidding me? Are you dreaming? So the journey as a teenager who wanted to dare to be different and believed in her dream well enough to understand that I can actually make something out of it in a country like Nigeria, against all the odds of social acceptance, cultural acceptance, religious acceptance, because I come from a very strong Muslim background. So you can imagine it's even worse trying to dance in that kind of home. They will also look at the economic acceptance of what the talent that I claim I have and my desire to pursue it as a profession. The odds were all against me. All the odds were against me. But guess what? I wasn't against myself. I wasn't against myself. There were a lot of ups and downs. I'm sure a lot of people think that Kafi just materialized, and a Kafi. Don't know. I also went through my own fair share of lack in life. What people call poverty. I won't call it poverty state, but I'll say poor. When I say poverty, for me, it's a state of mind. But in terms of lacking financial aid or lacking some certain privileges in life, it's a state I believe that people can go through or could go through, but nobody is built to stay in such a state. I don't think God created all of us to stay in lack. Moving on with that conversation. So there were a lot of obstacles that I had to face. I had to face the educational obstacle, which was really affected by the divorce of my parents. And moving along that line, it was really very erratic. And I had to do all I can to still get education, which for me is, I'm emphasizing on the fact that just because you want to pursue the creative arts or you have any thing you want to do in life, there is nothing like knowledge for that thing. You need a base, you need a knowledge base. And in the world that we are today, your formal education is required to help you, to put you in a position whereby you can comprehend, communicate, and develop ideas that are even outside the four walls of the university. So this is what has helped me to be able to speak for dance. The education I had, that I fought for, helped me speak for dance in a manner where people are like, are you sure it's dancing you want to use this entire intelligence to do? And that was what I was getting, that no, you are too smart to be a dancer. Dancers should be people that are drop out. They should be people that are those that don't want to go to school, because that is what has been the perception for the entertainment industry. So how did I pull through school? I pulled through school by trying to do a lot of things that young people probably will not do today, but would complain. Oh, my mom doesn't have money, so I decided to prostitute. My father doesn't have money, I decided to do Yahoo or whatever. Instead, I had rich friends. Everybody has one friend or the other that probably has more than him or her. If you don't even have rich friends, you have friends that are actually going to school. Rather than buckle up into a shell and say, because I don't have money for school, this thing is embarrassing for me, let me not roll with the guys that went to school. You know what? I rolled with them well enough to borrow all their books. I was reading from home. I did my SS1 mostly at home. I only went third term into a school, did the exam so I can go into SS2. I did my SS2 mostly at home. SS3. It was the Coca Secondary School that I now finished SS2 and SS3 when I now found a family member that was ready to take charge of my education. And that took years and years of that. After that, I started wanting to be an aeronautic engineer, despite loving dance. And a lot of family setbacks, family decisions and setbacks put a jab at that. Did I quit? No. It got to a point I was like, you know what? I am going to push further and I'm going to use what I have to get to where I want to be. And that is one of the focus of my conversation with you guys today. But just wrapping it up on the background, for me, education was very intentional for me, not just the formal education, but educating my mind enough for the journey that I was pursuing. And that journey was that, look, I want to make impact on this earth. What do I have in me that can actually achieve making an impact? And that is where this conversation is going to lead today. So I hope I've been able to help you a bit with the background. Hello, are you there? Is my host there? Can you hear me? Or do I just continue?
Thank you
the conversation
for sharing.
Or the topic? Oh, okay.
Yes, you can go.
Here. So can I go ahead? Okay, great. So now we are talking about how to develop your talent. The first question is, why? What are you about, really? Are you singing to the tune of the pressure at home that, I landed on this earth and I have family and they have expectations and I am singing to the tune of that expectation? So the expectation is, as I'm growing up in this home, I've watched mommy, I've watched daddy. Mommy is a doctor, daddy is a lawyer, or mommy is a plantain seller, dad is a carpenter, or what is driving you? What is driving your thoughts? You need to really understand what that is, because until you do that, you would not be living for you. One of the things that I want young people to be able to do in this generation is to live for them. I feel there's a lot of pressure on the minds of young people to just be great, to deliver, to be rich, to be successful. And we are losing sight on what is actually important to the growth and process of the mind of these young people. That success should not be measured by that big balloon called blow, but by the intentional growth that a young person attains and achieves while they are living their life every day. So every day there's a success for you. There's a success for you when you finish your book. There's a success for you when you finish cleaning your room. There's success there. There's success there when you interact in a project with your friends and you pass and you're able to get it done. It's success. There's success for you when you decided that I want to sew this outfit. I want to learn how to sew it. And you did, and you sew it. So if you're able to celebrate who you are, it helps you become a better person. So my first question for myself when I was growing up, or when I was trying to find my life, is that why am I here? What do I want to be known for? What do I want to represent? It wasn't about what my parents, because I already knew that the general idea for parenting is I need my child to be secure. I need my child to matter, so that I, as a parent, can be seen to have trained somebody great, right? Everybody wants a great child. Not every great child needs to be a popular child, but every parent wants to see an improvement of themselves in their children. They don't want to see their child be less of who they are. And sometimes they put on that pressure wrongly. You understand? So it's like it's coming from a good place, but it's usually activated, in a way that could be damaging to the mindset of their children or their wards, if it's guardians that you are staying with. So what am I trying to say here? I'm saying know why you want to be where you want to be. I was able to establish that because I kept from primary school looking for what to become that will matter to humanity. So first time in primary school, I wanted to be a lawyer because I felt I want to defend people. I think I worked there. Like, there's too much noise everywhere. Because I kept hearing, I want to be lawyer when I grow up. And I said, no, because I wanted to dare to be different. I wanted to be different. So I didn't like that whole idea of, I'm hearing so many lawyers. I'm hearing so many engineers. Whereas some other people will look at it from the perspective of, that is what is raining. Let me go and be it. No, instead I was like, that's saturation. That's too much. Too many lawyers, too many doctors, too many engineers. What else can I be? What other solution does this earth, does this world need, or my environment need, that I can be the one to provide it? You understand? And I said, look, I want to impact for productivity, excellent productivity of a human. That means when you come in contact with me, you become a better person for you just by being in contact with me. I want to make you happy. I want to be able to give you hope. I want to be able to ignite the God in you to create and do marvelous things as we have all been created to do. And in the course of identifying that is what I wanted to achieve, I did not care what profession gets me there. I just wanted to look for something I had flair for to do it. And it was sciences. It was physics or maths. And I fell in love with science. And I said, look, good. Now I know I want to do engineering. But which one? I don't want mechanical because there's so many people do mechanical. It's all over the place. I don't want electrical. There's so many. Maybe aeronautics, because I studied the environment enough to know at that time that we didn't have enough aeronautic engineers in the country. And I said, good, now that I've found a pain point, let me become the solution. And that's why I was pursuing it. Unfortunately, with the divorce of my parents, with the erratic nature of my education, and with the interference of a lot of family members who think that as a female child, it is too much money, spending money on me to go and study aeronautics abroad, that part was blocked. But did I give up because some family members have opinions over me? No. Instead, I look for something else that I had that no one can come and take from me, and that was dancing. I didn't need to go to university to learn it. It was inborn. I just applied it in an area that was needed, and it was fitness. I applied it in. So I hope you guys are following the journey now, because I don't want to just come here and give you guys the vague motivational story of become, be, take your talent to the next level. I need to show you the processes that I actually had to subject myself into in order to achieve those words you hear in motivational speeches, which are, there is a reality in front of me and I need to deal with the reality. And for every road that blocked, is another one waiting to be open. You cannot give up on yourself. Because if you give up on yourself, then you're giving up on all the pressure that you are giving into all the pressure that comes with it, the family pressure, the society pressure, the peer pressure. You are giving it into it. But when you can't give up on yourself, people start to learn to identify, respect you, and accept you for who you are. They will always bring their own perception towards you. If you are grounded in who you are, it is hard for anyone to uproot you out of that journey of becoming. Very, very difficult. I am not saying that the pressures are not much, because in Africa, we have been trained to be so afraid of our parents, not respect them, afraid. We live with our parents in fear. We live in the system in fear. So the system is governing us from a fear point of view rather than a place of curiosity, nurturing, mentoring, allowing us to discover ourselves, allowing us to do what? Make our mistakes and have a system that what reforms the mistake. So right here we have a judgmental system, oppressive system, a system that waits for you to blow before you are identified, before you are seen as someone. So all of these things are things that work against the mindset of young people. And I wanted to be a change to that. So these processes of me not quitting on myself, taking one form of energy and converting it into the other, is something that I want you all to adopt. There's always a way, always a way. So moving on from there, I started pursuing aeronautic abroad. It didn't work. I came back into Nigeria again to see what else can I do. My parents were my child must go to university. My child must go to university. Okay, no problem. I entered OSU on computer science, diploma in data processing, then switch over into sports science. You understand? I couldn't even finish. Why? Because of pressure, so many things going on. I couldn't finish. I only did a diploma. I couldn't finish the degree program in there because some unforeseen circumstances came again, where my entire file, after being a student for 2 years, my entire file was just missing. And trying to get that file together, because of the system that we have here, where so many, corrupt practices are going on, trying to get myself back into the school system was so frustrating and choking that I was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and focus on what I can control. I can't control the system. I can't control ASU. I can't control, but what can I control? Myself. Dance. I said, I'm going into dance because at that time, I've already started applying dance in the fitness world at the National Stadium, pro bono, doing free work, volunteering. And I found out one thing that was very unique about dance. It wasn't the entertaining part of it. It was the empowering nature of it. What do I mean by the empowering nature? For every time that I took someone at the National Stadium, there was always this feedback I got that I feel better today. Thank you. I want to do this again tomorrow. Or a confidence that I boosted. I watched a particular woman, the women that cover their hair, the Islamic women that cover hair and everything. She was always coming very heavily dressed and clothed. Then I watched her in class. And as the classes go on, the clothes became lesser. Not that she removed her hijab, but she was confident in her body enough to not want to cover it with so heavy clothing because she lacked body confidence. And I said, that is it. I don't want to impact people through a machine by being an aeronautic engineer. I want to impact lives directly. And I'm going to use dance to do that. And that is where the journey began for me. So now, it's not like I said I'll just stand at the bus stop and be dancing and say, impact, impact. I'm dancing. Are you not happy? No, I needed dance to be taken seriously. And I had to take every opportunity I could where I see that it could be needed to use it. So in sports, for instance, in basketball, Remember that some of you watch basketball games, you see that they're half-court performances. You understand? I will be that person that will want to create a team for the basketball tournament in order to do what? To give them halftime entertainment. Because entertainment is a very seductive way of catching people's mind towards who you are. So people consume entertainment. And I wanted to go get that impactation from an entertainment, because that's the only way people who know what I'm doing. Then I also got through the sports sector. I knew that working out, doing aerobics, warming up is important. I will pursue the officials there and say, I can be the one to warm up the entire athlete in the tournament. I go to the track and field. I work with the coaches there. You understand? I was plugging myself, not in the entertainment industry directly, because everybody thinks that when they hear dance, the first thing is to go and look for a music video to dance. No, you can look for other areas that it is used. And if those are the areas that your opportunity came in, use those areas. That's where it is. Use those areas. And that's what sports was my first outlet in absorbing what I did. And I was now celebrated in it because I took on sports as well, because I'm a good basketball player. So I took on sports. I got awards as a basketball player, and I was pursuing myself as a dance fitness player, so a fitness coach. So I was the very first dance fitness instructor in this country, not aerobics, but dance fitness. I created that idea and brought it in, and people started absorbing that. So by that time, before you knew it, the likes of Zumba now came in, and which actually inspired me creating something indigenous called the Joda for the Nigerian, for the African space, because Zumba is more of a Latin-based product. So are you seeing the processes now? This is me thinking as a teenager. I spoke to a teenager I was mentoring one time, and I was trying to put her in a position where before she's 25, she'll be one of the most sought after executive, either assistant or secretary, or, you have it. And the good thing was that hello, yeah, I hope you can hear me. So I found out that I wanted her to be that, but guess what? The process of becoming that requires a lot of intentional training, intentional resource absorption, skill acquisition. And do you know what I got at the end? The girl was like, I'm too young for all of that. I'm still 19. I'm like, you're not too young. So if you're a teenager out there watching this, you're not too young to start. My thought process of who I am today started since I was like 11. Not when I become 25, I want to start, especially in this country where things are delayed. The earlier you can start thinking, as if you want to be a Dangote tomorrow. There's no tomorrow. You start now. If you want to be a Kafi, start now. You ought to have started thinking about that even years before, but it's not too late to start. You start now. And that was what led to the growth of my brand, because I was in service, which is another thing that a lot of young people don't like to do. We just want people to give us and let us do what we want to do to get to where we want to get to. No, you need to plant seeds of service. Even when it's not paid, people think, if they're not paying me, why? If I work, I need to get paid. Yes, if you work, you need to get paid. But also understand that there's value in serving. Even while you are getting paid, you are still doing it for service. So I don't know. I'll take questions now to help. So anyway, before I wrap up, I want to say one more thing. Let's go into the part where we're actually converting this talent to something. I've been trying to help you guys understand the process of injecting who you are vis-a-vis the situation that is around you with respect to your environment, because you have to consider that. But guess what? Your mind needs to be higher than your environment all the time. That is one place nobody can touch, your mind. But if somebody affects your mindset, touches your mindset, which is a very volatile, it's very easy for it to be penetrated in the world that we are now, especially the internet age, the Instagram and social media age, the distraction to lock your mind from getting where you are going and distracting you from purpose is very easy. The amount of time you spend on the internet, the amount of time you spend on Instagram, the amount of time you spend on Facebook, Trust me, it's not productive time if it's not intentional towards productivity. I can guarantee you that even I had to be intentional about cutting down the consumption of what? People's pictures and images. Are you serious? It can easily take 2 hours of your time, 3 hours of your time. You'll be scrolling like this. You just like, it's like a vortex. If you took that 3 hours and use it to study something on YouTube or even follow pages that brings knowledge to you, do you know that the algorithm of Facebook and YouTube and Instagram has been created to intelligently, like there's an AI intelligence behind the machine, to what? Understand your pattern of what you consume and continue to bring those things to you. So if you consume a lot of wealth and personal development content, that is what you see mostly on your timeline. That's what the machine is set up to do. If you look at comedy, and you watch other things that just for fun, that is what to come mostly on your timeline. So you need to control even what comes to you, what you are consuming. You need to control it so that you can protect your talent and nurture it. So if you want to be a musician, it's fine. What are you consuming? Are you just saying, are you going on the internet to just say, please sign me, please listen to my song, please sign me? What act of service are you doing as a person to attract people to who you are, the value of you? That's it now, not the value of your talent now, the value of you, in order to do what? Start consuming your talent. Because some people have amazing personalities, you understand? And that is what will attract people to them. Some are fantastic with looks. People are beautiful. Beautiful people always attract people. Dressing well does that. So you want to also look at different things that can attract people to you outside the talent. Because, well, majority of the time, the talent requires an opportunity, which you might not readily have. But who you are is an opportunity. You become an opportunity for yourself, maybe by the way you speak on your social media, maybe by the interactions you have, the friends you keep, the network you seek to be part of. All of these things are templates. They're like soils where you can plant the seed of you. And once the seed starts to germinate, because you always have to show up, people start to consume every other thing that you are. So don't be afraid. Don't be in a hurry to say, I've been doing this for so long. Nah, be intentional. That's why those of you that are here, I want to applaud you that you are here. If you are listening, I want to applaud you that you are here. You are already on the right track of understanding what is required. And there is nothing more powerful than knowledge. I am going to tell you categorically today that I learned this very late. Even me, that I'm very well into learning, I learned it very late to spend much more on knowledge than any other thing. It looks like I'll not be spending money for all those courses, all this, they're making money off me. Bro, sis, I'm telling you, no knowledge can be erased once it's gotten. But clothes can fade. Phones can blow. Food can spoil. Cars can get accidents. But you see, knowledge, it does not go away. It's retained in you. And there's some knowledge that you'll be consuming that might not have an immediate effect on you, but it has been embedded in your subconsciousness such that by the time it's time for you to be prepared, to be given an opportunity, your entire mindset is prepared for that opportunity. Because even if you have not done that thing before, because you have put yourself in a lot of process of acquiring knowledge, you'll be able to find a solution, which is one of the amazing grace that I have. I can find solutions. Why? Because I am vastly read. You cannot find solution when you don't have an archive of equipment to try. Do you understand? Okay, look at acquiring knowledge as a toolbox. So somebody wants you to come and fix their door, but you don't have a screwdriver. Somebody wants you to come and fix their net, but you don't have a glue. So knowledge is like the screwdriver, the glue, the sewing machine. You are acquiring knowledge so that the time that you'll be faced with a challenge, the screwdriver can come where in the areas that you need screw. And you can have various screwdrivers, not only one. Because you have the star, the flat head, you have the round one. So those are the things that will help you be testing. You'll be testing. You know what? That is how solutions are found. Because you have what? You have plenty tools. And that's what today is supposed to do for you. Become a tool. It's going to be somewhere in your head. It's going to sit there. And tomorrow when you are faced with challenges, You're going to remember some of the things that you're going to hear in this program. You're going to think through it, and you just find out that I just found a solution. It's not by magic. It's because you were intentional with your process. Use social media wisely. This is the best time of any generation to create something of their talent and sell it to a direct audience that is limitless to access. Limitless to access. But you need to be intentional about the use of all the tools that are available for you now. Thank you very much. I can't hear you. His volume is so low, I can't even hear him. I can't hear you, but I see you clapping, so I see that you appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, now I can hear you. Oh, yeah, it has gone off again. It's tripping off. It's tripping off. Hello. I can't hear anybody.
They have loads of questions for you, so I'll just let them.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. So
Yeah.
I can hear you now.
All right. So, like I said earlier, I have Ore here and I have Shay. So they have a lot of questions to ask you, and some other teenagers will be joining us as well. So let's have Shay first.
Okay, ma. So, ma, from scratch, you said from 11 you knew that you were like you wanted to dance, but like, what drove you through school? Because if it was me now, if I knew like I want to dance and I won't need like to go to school, I'll be really distracted with going to dance, so I'll like go off education. So, like, what pushed you and what like drove you through education?
Okay, first of all, I didn't think I was going to dance. I knew how to dance, but I never thought dance would be my career. I never thought that. Okay. And yes, now, what is school? You need to understand what school is. School is a place where to gather information and knowledge towards the use of something, right? So just because you want to be a dancer doesn't mean you shouldn't go to school, because you need to think about it. What kind of dancer you wanna be? How do you even get jobs as a dancer if you don't go to school? How do you read your contract? How do you understand contracts? How do you understand the administrative side of the business of dance? Because you can't just be a performer. Even if you don't want to establish a dance school in your life and you only want to be performing, you need to be able to get a grasp on the intercommunication skills that are required for you to even become the best at being a performer. So I would not say don't go to school. What I will say is that when you get to that age where you now want to specify which school, so primary school, very essential. Secondary school, very essential. University, then we take a pause. Do I need to go to the university, or do I need to go to a university that does my course as a dancer? So that is if I've already decided that the dance I want to dance, I want to be intellectually sound in the technical knowledge of dance, then I'll go to a university that does dance. There are many, especially abroad, and I'll go there. However, if it is performing I want to be, then I'll look for a performing arts school. Are we still saying that we're still using the word school? You can't just say because you want to be a dancer, you're on the street roaming. You are watching YouTube to learn how to dance. The world has advanced beyond that. There are so many courses you can do globally. Some are even online courses. There are some universities abroad, technical colleges, school of dance schools that actually do online training for their awards. So I will not rule out schooling just because you want to be dancing. Just because it's entertainment doesn't mean it doesn't have a structure. And it is that structure that is killing us in Africa, the lack of understanding that just because you're a musician doesn't mean you shouldn't be well-learned or well-read. Look at now, we're in the computer age. An average musician needs to know how to do what? Shoot music videos, do editing, stream live, communicate with his audience. There's so many things. If you don't have education, how do you do that? So I hope that answers it for you.
Okay, so all right.
Ma, what if your parent did not divorce? Will you be a dancer today?
Interesting.
Hello, are you there? Yeah.
What if your parent did not divorce? Will you be a dancer today?
Yes, I would still have been a dancer. My parents' divorce only made life hard enough for living, for living. That's it. It didn't change. It wasn't a propelling force for me to becoming a dancer. It's not what inspired my being a dancer. Okay, it just made, like I said, if you want to be a doctor and you want to read for exam and people are shouting in your house, your environment is too noisy. That's why you can't read. It might affect you passing. Do you get that? So it's exactly the same thing. I love dancing. Not that I planned to be a dancer when I was young. I just love dancing. I just decided at some point that I'm so good at this thing. Why can't I use it to become? And you know what? I can break all those rules of who do you want to become? What are they going to call you? I said they're going to call me great. I am going to stand among kings and queens, presidents, and the most respected and honorable in this world. I will stand side by side with them because I'm not going to be judged by the name of my profession, but by the content of my character. And that is what took me further than just dancing.
Okay, that's cool.
How do you develop your talent?
What did you say?
How do you develop your talent?
Well, from the processes that have been mentioned today, that is how you develop your talent. The how is in my conversation with you today. So I'm sure a replay can be available and you can listen through it again. But I'll put it in highlights. Know why, your why. Know what can fulfill the why. Okay? Understanding the how is where you start looking for knowledge, absorbing knowledge. Applying who you are is where you start having act of service to build your self-value. Understanding the use of all the tools around you, from social media, Facebook, and every other thing around you, is another way key to developing it into, it serving you back. So those are the 5 major things you should look at.
Okay, Ma, you said you in the engineering, like you didn't want to empower people through engineering, that you wanted to empower like through dancing. So like is there like any empowerment organization you have, or how do you empower people with dancing? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, an example is me sitting down in front of you right now. I'm just empowering your mind, telling you how to actually achieve anything and be anything with anything. I'm empowering you right now by talking to you. So when you think of dance as an empowering tool, it's not only from the angle of moving as a dancer, but also from a place of communication, from a place of giving people opportunities where they aren't. So empowering someone as a dancer can be physically, it can be psychologically, and it can be emotionally. A lot of young people are going through a lot of emotional stress that causes depression for them. Dance is a way out. That is empowerment on its own. A lot of people are on the streets, jobless, not knowing what to do, but they have a talent in dance, and I give them a platform and they get paid. That is empowerment. You understand? So, as somebody said, I love dancing. I don't know how to dance. You learn. Find a place to learn. Let's start with that. Loving it is not enough. Loving something is never enough. Okay? Loving it is a good fuel, but you have to do more than loving it. You have some parents don't allow you to dance. For me, I'm a Muslim girl. My mom would not allow me. So what can I do to make her understand my passion? Number one, you need to erase most of their doubts and fears. Most of the doubts and fears is you're going to be wayward, you're going to be a prostitute, you are going to sleep with men, you're going to call you names, you're going to be naked. So if you still want to practice dance within the confines of Islam, use the confines of Islam to practice dance. What I mean by that is this. There are ladies that nobody wanted them to do athletics because they are Muslims, because they have to wear. As like Falila Togokoya worked with, she pushed herself high enough to get to a point where Nike started making this hijab fitted tracksuit for ladies. Google, do research and show mommy. Do research. Show mommy how many Muslim women are doing different kind of sports that people do not expect them to do, but they are still wearing hijab. And if you're not the hijab wearing type, let them know that, okay, maybe their fear is just waywardness and all of that. It is in your character. And you have to continue to prove it. And you can't prove it by being a saucy, disrespectful child, because you're just proving their point by doing that. How do you get, oh, I didn't see that question. The questions are just rolling in. When you are seen as an underage for your talent, can't see that. How do you get the exposure necessary to be successful? Consistency. Exposure doesn't come once. Most of the people that you see that are blown out, they didn't blow overnight. Anybody that you see is popular, it took time. Nobody. There could be platforms that help them increase the opportunity, like with those that go for Big Brother and all of that. There are platforms that allow it, that just helps you get a lot of audience. But guess what? Those people kept on looking for those platforms. That's how they got it. Yeah, and you need to be prepared, because some people ask for problems that they can't handle. You understand? You want to be recognized. You want to be known by a lot of people, but it comes with a lot of baggage. You need to be prepared to be able to handle that pressure of knowing too many people. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Joined now with Ayo. So Ayo has a question for you.
Hello?
Okay.
Mr. Kazim said that in your book you wrote your parents were known party dancers. Do you think that you picked up your passion for dancing from them?
We're known what? We're known what? We're known what? Say that again.
Known party dancers.
No what? Known. They were not party dancers. My parents were not. They were not known party dancers. They were not party dancers. My parents were socialites. Okay, and it's only my mom, when she goes into a party, she goes in the party with an entrance as a party guest. Very dramatic. The artists always play. She was not a dancer. She was someone. It's just like when you go to your friend's birthday, you understand? And when you walk in, you are the life of the party, and you're like, oh my God, Kazim has entered. In the building, Kazim is in the building. Woo! That's it. And that's because they were already well known for doing a lot of philanthropic. My parents were in the league of Abiola then. You understand? So they were socialites. It's not like how you have a Tokemakiwa being very popular. That is how my mom was. So when Tokemakiwa enters the party, imagine Tokemakiwa enters the party now and she dances in a very nice way. Don't want it go viral. It will go viral. So that was it. So I don't know what the question was, but I wanted to correct that perception that they were not party dancers, but they had that entertainment flair in them, and that was really mostly my mom.
Okay, thank you. I think she has one more question. Okay, you can ask the question.
Okay, so like, what was it like? You said your parents didn't support you because they were like, if you're not choosing lawyer as a profession, you're not going to be successful. Was there a particular time you were going to be like, let me just listen to what they're saying, because like you wanted to give up, you didn't want to pursue what you wanted to be again?
Yes. Okay. So one of the things I found out over the years is that most Nigerian parents act from a place of protecting you from something they don't understand. If they don't understand it, they are going to fight you. That is majorly. So, doctor, do you understand it? Lawyer, do you understand it? There's a structure. Okay. Entertainment, football. Okay, now they understand it because we have seen. So sometimes they need guinea pigs. They need proof. I have seen a lot of parents now that are more confident and comfortable with their children saying they want to dance because a cafe has emerged. They've seen my lifestyle. They see that, number one, I hold a lot of high moral values. I'm not perfect, but I hold a lot of high moral values. I don't support drugs. I do things respectably. I have a family. I have children. So these are things that an average Nigerian parent wants. They want a good name. Don't spoil my name. Do you get what I'm saying? So how did I go about it? There was a lot of tussle here and there, but I kept on proving to them that you need to believe in what you've taught me. You need to believe in your parenting, that I am not going to be that child. It didn't stop me from going. I had to sneak to do a lot of the work that I was doing, but I was doing whatever I was doing outside in rebellion, but towards achieving success. The worst thing that can happen to you is to rebel against your parents and not come through with why you rebelled. That's where there's a big problem. So I'm not going to tell you not to rebel. You can rebel. Rebellion is not insulting them. Rebellion is not being rude. Rebellion is not talking anyhow. Rebellion could just be, I know I want to do this. They don't understand. So let me tell you one of my own acts of rebellion. I normally go to lesson. So I know they will allow me to go for jam lessons, right? Fantastic. Jam lesson is like, let me just say, it's like 9 to 12. I'll tell them jam lesson is 9 to 3. So you see that 12 to 3, I use that time to go and train, to go and learn anything that I need to do to pursue that thing. And as I was doing it, one day I did a particular competition and I won. And my name was all over the radio. And they forgot for a moment that when did she have time to go for this competition? It was more about the, oh my God, on the radio. So you get what I'm saying? So the rebellion will come, but let the intention be there that I want to prove it to you that this thing is right. Look at all the great athletes you've seen in the world today who their parents didn't support them. You will hear that story of I snuck out. I used my school time. I used this other time. Do you understand? Like they found a way around it without always confronting. Yes, there are moments you might have to have a sit down with your parent, because there was a time I had to sit down with my uncle I was living with, and I had to tell him, sir, this is what I want to do. I would never bring shame to this family. You have seen me over the years. You've watched me over the years. I have not done or have a trait that will bring that to you. Some of you are already doing things that are questionable. That's the problem. The rate at which young people are doing drugs nowadays is crazy. The rate at which some people are following friends and, girls are going to club at 14, 13. It's crazy. It's crazy. So right now, parents are even more scared than they used to be before, because you guys have access and people have access to you. People that you don't want to see, you can see you through your Facebook, through your Instagram. So the shield of protection is dropping. So what does that mean? It means you as a young person need to now start becoming more responsible, more intentional about what you are doing. So you can't blame the parents too much. You just have to find a balance.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm joined now by Mirat. She has a question for you. Just one question.
If you are given a chance to go back to school, would you study everything?
I can't see you guys yet. I can't see you guys yet. Okay, now. Hello?
Can you see me now?
Please, can you say that again?
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Go back to the university. Will you still become a aeronautic engineer?
Yeah, if I wanna, I right now I can pay for any education that I want. So, and I'm doing that all the time. So yeah, I wouldn't mind, but not because I want to go to university and prove anything. Right now, my life has dance has grown bigger than just movement for me. And don't forget what I said in the beginning, that the reason for the season is that I want to impact lives. And the more that idea is growing, the more aeronautic is not a necessity anymore, because I wanted to do it to impact. I have achieved impact. I have now ascended from impactation to do what? To do a scaling that idea and creating more opportunities for people to get to where I am. So I think I fulfilled my purpose. Aeronautics is not a fail. I did not fail by saying I'm not doing aeronautics. So saying I want to go back to university and do aeronautics is like accepting defeat that I failed at something. Aeronautic is not what defines me. So going to be an aeronautic doesn't define me. And if it is that being in the university, getting a degree or something or a tag in front of my name is what I wanted, trust me, guess what? I am a doctor by honor, clothed a doctorate by PhD level people who came to adorn me by saying you have inspired a generation. That is something I achieved via purpose, not by pursuing certificate. Not a certificate or being an academician is bad, but I'm saying that purpose towards what you do is bigger than any paper. Paper cannot validate your essence fully. It can help, but it can't do it fully.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have some comments on YouTube. I think you can see that on your screen, like 2 comments, 2 questions. Just 2 questions.
Yes.
You can see.
Do you organize dance classes for teenagers? Yes, I do.
Okay. Where, please, or how can they reach you?
Right now, they can follow me on my social media platforms. I'm planning a boot camp, a dance boot camp in October, November. Okay. It's going to be for 2 weeks for young people. And the major focus of the boot camp is, yes, we are dancing, but I want to be able to help them become bosses. How can you channel dance and convert it to become a boss, an entrepreneur, a business person, or to pursue something in life. So it's not only somebody that wants to be a dancer that can come for the camp. Even just the fact that you like dancing and you want to come and associate with what we are doing in the camp to get clarity for your life, you should be in that camp. So to reach me, just follow me on Cafe Dance on Instagram, on Facebook at Cafe DQ, Cafe Dance Queen, and on Twitter, although we're not using Twitter in Nigeria now, on Twitter is at Cafe Dance Queen. And if you want to send me an email, okay, if you want to send an email or you want to be able to ask specific questions or make inquiries, you can send an email to hello@cafeinc.com. Hello is HELLO at Cafe KAFFYINC.com. What do you do if you don't have the necessary tools to showcase it? You search for the tools. You go out there, read, learn, serve. Sometimes you just go and intern. Work in a place that gives you value. When you want to work for free, free is not free. There's nothing in this world that is free. So it's either you are giving or you are getting. Okay. So if you want to get something, go to a place whereby you can give a little of who you are, maybe just your time you want to give there, but you are getting what? Experience. So don't go to a place and say, now, wow, I'm just working here, I'm not even collecting money. If that place is not bringing value to you outside money, then you should not even be paid for that kind of place. You get what I mean? So I hope that helps.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. We had an amazing session as usual with your energy. Thank you very much, Kathy. And for all the teenagers watching you now, can we just give us the last word, like sign out word? And you've already mentioned how to reach you. So let's that final word.
What I'll say to you is this: you are in the best millennium and in the worst millennium that can ever be on earth right now. You know why? Because I look at this period and I liken it to the Garden of Eden when God said, "Do not eat of that fruit, because you will know of good and of evil." The world that we are in right now, you are in the world where that good and evil are at your fingertips. It's easy to sway to evil and it's easy to sway to good. Use this time wisely. This is the best time to be an entrepreneur because you can do it from your home and you can own the world. And you don't need one big building to prove that. But in order to have the knowledge to build such a platform, you need to seek it continuously. You need to become a learner. You need to remain a learner for the rest of your life. The moment you say, I don't know, you don't do, you're not going to learn anything again. Humility is key. You need to be very humble, but not stupid. Humility is not stupidity. Humility is humility. Okay? Respecting other people, having empathy for people, but set boundaries always. I made a mistake sometimes where my humility is taken for granted because I didn't set boundaries. Set boundaries for yourself. Okay? There's nothing impossible. Family can be a hindrance. Don't believe that because don't think that because somebody is your family, your father, they are right. Mommy can be wrong, daddy can be wrong, society can be wrong. But guess what? For you to decide that, it takes a lot of knowledge. So I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kathy. We have other questions that are coming in, but I will forward them to you and hopefully you probably answer.
So this is what I would do on behalf of those questions. If you can forward all those questions to me, I would do like an IG live where I respond to all those questions. And if any of the teenagers that are doing it, I would answer it on an IG live and they can watch it later. And maybe Kazim, I invite you on that live with all those questions and probably bring some of these young people up and have a conversation with them. I would donate that time to answering all the questions. Yeah.
Wow, you're really a damn queen. Thank you very much, Queen Kathy. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Please let's give Kathy
You're
a round of applause. And follow Kathy at Kathy Dance. Expect that live video. Send in your questions and she will definitely respond to them. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day, Kathy. All right. That was Kathy Dance Queen. I hope you guys, I know you guys enjoyed it. I mean, a lot of loaded content there. So we'll take like a 1 minute break so that we can get ready for the next speaker. And his name is Mr. Jafat Omojua. Okay, Ugochi Obidiegu is the next person. Sorry about that. JJ Omojua will join us much later. So let's go on a 1 minute break and we'll be right back. Updates. And also want to thank our partners and sponsors, Wema Bank, Right Foods, makers of Fearless Energy Drink, and the likes of them. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Fearless Energy Drink, yeah, Fearless. Thank you very much for supporting this program. Now we go straight to our next speaker. Her name is Mrs. Ugochi Obidiegu of Safety Chick. Ugochi is a social development strategist with specialty in creating product programs and providing policy advisory on pressing development issues affecting young Africans. She's young, intelligent, resourceful, committed, and multi-talented. She has created her own ways on how to give expression to her unique gift and talent, and the results are obvious. She'll be discussing on the topic goal setting and prioritization, which is very important as a leader, as a young person. So join me in welcoming Miss Ugochi Obidiego. Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you clearly. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Awesome. Awesome.
Good to have you. So you have the floor, goal setting and prioritization. Please give us a brief before you do this regarding your success journey and how you started all this safety check and how our teenagers too can be inspired regarding your story.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm excited to be here. I really love to speak with young people because I believe that when they learn the things they need to learn early,
Can you hear me?
the right decisions.
Or did you hear me?
Yes, I did. I was already speaking. I don't know if you caught anything I said. Okay, so I've lost your own audio.
Continue.
Okay, so did you hear me earlier?
We can hear you. Continue.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I was saying that I love to speak with teenagers, young people, because I believe that if they make the right decisions now, it ensures that they do not make mistakes, they do not enter the wrong path, and it just makes things a lot easier for them. So that's why I love speaking with young people. So thank you so much, Mr. Ola Kazim, for inviting me and asking me to come here and share my story and also teach on goal setting and prioritization with these young people. So, first things first, I would really like to commend also our previous speaker. I listened to Kathy, the dance queen, Dr. Kathy, as a matter of fact, and she's just phenomenal. And I really hope that it inspires young people to see that really it's about you, the individual. As long as you decide to shine, as long as you decide to stand out, back it up with hard work, and everyone is going to eventually support you. Okay, so before we talk about the topic of today, you wanted to hear about how the whole safety thing started. So, my name is Ugochi, but more people know me as the safety chick because of my work in raising safety consciousness and reducing avoidable accidents affecting children. So, I started this because years ago, I lost my mom in an avoidable road accident. About few years after that, I noticed that in the newspaper, there were many stories of people dying avoidable deaths. You know, maybe a whole family went to sleep and they slept with their generator inside their house, and everybody died because of generator fumes. Or you would hear a story of maybe there was fuel scarcity and people bought fuel. Petrol in jerry cans and they filled it to the brim without any space for it to expand, and then at night the thing expanded and it burst, and a fire started in their homes. All sorts of stories that really those deaths were avoidable. And also there was a fire at a popular supermarket in Lagos at the time, and that's when I knew, okay, I have to do something. And the reason I thought that again was, again, I got it from divine inspiration. One of the things that God showed me, and I also saw how real experiences, real stories were happening, right? But again, I had a background in aviation. I had worked in aviation as a cabin crew and a safety officer. And so I had seen in practical terms how having safety knowledge and safety systems ensured that accidents were reduced. So if you notice, we don't have plane crashes every day. We do have plane crashes in the world, but they are sort of spaced out, and that's because there are systems to ensure that an accident doesn't happen every minute or every day. And I thought, okay, with that knowledge, if I can try to simplify complex safety knowledge in a simple way, other people can understand, and when they understand, they can take it into their businesses and the various things they do. And that's how I started. I initially wanted to teach small businesses so they would know how to stay safe, but the Nigerian factor again, some of them thought they didn't need it. Maybe safety was just for aviation or construction or oil and gas. And when I dug deeper into why we had those kinds of perceptions, I saw that it was because growing up, we didn't really have a system of safety education in our schools. So even you now in your school right now, maybe there is nobody particularly teaching you about fire safety, or maybe which other one again, the effects of spills, the whole thing is, it's not should I say, well followed through. Unlike the way you have maths and English, thought in a particular dimension, but we don't have safety education thought in that thorough manner. And so that's why you see people just think, God forbid, oh, it's not my portion, oh, God will protect me. I believe in God so much, and I know that God does protect, but I also know that you, the individual, you have a responsibility, right? And so that's how we decided to take it to the root, begin to teach children, because I believe that if we are able to groom the generation, the next generation, they grow with safety knowledge and it becomes a part of them. It's almost like, so for many of you, you grew up using your right hand to eat. Imagine if you get to age 30 and someone comes to you and says you've been doing that wrong all your life. What you've got to do now is start eating with your left hand. You're going to struggle because you haven't done it for a very long time for it to become almost automatic, right? Same thing if you grew up using your left. If you were asked to switch to your right, it's going to be tough. There's that automaticity will not be there because you've not been doing it for a long time. And that's the same thing here. If we're able to teach people as they're growing how to stay safe across different situations, and it is continued, it is thorough, it is followed through on a particular pathway, what happens is you grow up with that knowledge, it becomes a part of you. You make the right decisions subconsciously because you've been programmed to do the right thing from scratch. So that's it basically, and that's why I'm really big on teaching the next generation. We have storybooks, we have games. Yes, we created a game during the COVID period so that children can prepare on how to go to school safely. And this is just a brief summary of the work I have done. Now, let's tie it to the topic of today: goal setting and prioritization. If I did not have specific goals at certain periods on the journey, if I did not see the big picture of where I was going and started to take small incremental steps in that direction, I probably wouldn't be the one speaking to you today. The reason I'm probably chosen to handle this particular topic is because I have proof in my life. Yes, I have result of how I took something from nothing. I mean, in 2016, nothing like the safety chick existed. Nothing. But here I am in 2021. I have books that are self-published on Amazon, available in English and French. I've spoken across several platforms across the world. As a matter of fact, I'm one of the speakers for the World Safety Congress happening in September. I'm also a speaker at the West African Congress. So why am I the one being chosen? It's not because I'm the most intelligent person in the field of safety. It's not because maybe I have thousands of years of experience. It's just because within my own time frame, the short time frame I've had, I've made a mark that is noticeable to everybody around. So when they're looking for people in child safety, I'll most likely be the one they would call. Why? Because I distinguished myself. I took those small incremental steps, and today there is a difference. And I'm not even where I want to be yet. I'm still setting goals. I'm still planning. And so that is what I want to teach you this morning. I want to teach you how to make your goals, set your goals, and how to prioritize. Because another problem we have today, most especially with young people, is we don't have the ability to follow through. Some of us, we get to discouraged. We just want to blow and fizzle out. When you just blow, you would fizzle out. I would rather you take small incremental steps and grow on a particular pathway, so that and that's why, if you notice, I'm sure if I ask you all for examples now, you'd give it to me. You've probably heard of some stars, some celebrities who suddenly won a very big amount of money. They were stars and celebrities, but after a period, you don't hear anything from them again. It seems like they don't have money anymore, because when you just blow like that without making sure that you have deep roots, what happens is you would fizzle out. I'll give you a practical example. I'm sure you all remember that practical we do in secondary school, where you'll be asked to plant a maize seed. Now, when we plant that maize seed, few days after, when we begin to see a green stalk coming up, all of us were always so excited. Yes, it's growing. Now imagine if you showed up a few more days after and you see a full-grown corn cob on that tender stalk. What do you think is going to happen? That stalk will snap. Why? It doesn't have capacity to carry that big corn cob. Is the big corn cob a good thing? Yes. I mean, you can cut it, boil it, and eat, or roast it, as it were. But the thing carrying it, if it doesn't have enough strength, if it has not built deep and strong roots, it's going to fizzle out. And that's why you should not be in a haste to blow, so that you don't blow and fizzle out. Instead, follow due process. Do what you need to do. Be building your roots, and everything good is going to come to you. So there is this fantastic book by Brian Tracy that I read about goals about 2 years ago, and it's really helped me to redefine how I set my goals. And the name of the book is Goals by Brian Tracy. I hope that maybe you can ask your parents or something, maybe they can buy the book for you and you can try to digest it. It's a really great book, but I'm just going to try to simplify some of the concepts that are there. So we'll start with tips for goal setting. Then we'll talk about creating an action plan. And then we're going to talk about priority. And then, of course, I would now add a bonus of, just in case you are saying, okay, Ugochi, I've heard all you've said. It sounds possible, but I have these challenging goals. How am I going to achieve these challenging goals? So I would also teach you how to manage challenging goals. I hope that sounds like a plan. All right. So first things first, how to set tips for goal setting. The first is evaluate your progress. So where are you right now? What has happened in the past? Because the truth is, to get a better picture of the future, you've got to ask yourself what has happened in the past. Where are the places I did very well? And where are the places I didn't do well? What happened? So the places where I had good results, what did I do to have those good results? The places where I had bad results or nothing came out of it, what also did I do or not do? When you can honestly evaluate what you have done, it's easy for you to now make a decision. Oh, okay, I slept too much in the previous season, so maybe this time around I need to wake up a bit early and commit some more time to my goals. Or maybe last time I didn't have to-do list. I wasn't able to systematically check if I was actually doing the things I was supposed to do. So going forward, I'm going to begin to do so and so. Can you see what I'm doing? You have to go to the past to check what have you done well or not done well, and then make a decision on the things you're going to do going forward. Okay, then the second is you've got to recognize your setbacks, including those that are out of your control. I know some of you now, you are probably thinking of what I'm saying. You might be thinking, one of the setbacks I had was I didn't have money, or maybe I asked my parents for money and they didn't give me the money. That's out of my control. It's not like I'm working, right? It's still important to recognize what those setbacks were. The ones within your control, for example, waking up early, that you refused to do, or you woke up early but you decided to play a game when you were supposed to be doing something else. Recognize it for what it is, both those within your control and those outside your control. And then the next thing is you've got to adapt to your current reality. So using the money example, you want to buy, what's the latest game now? PS what? Somebody should help me. So you want to buy this game, right? And you don't have the money for it. And you've asked your parents for it, and they are saying they can't give it to you because that's not a priority now and all that. The next step is adapt to your current reality. So what will the reality be for you? Is your reality going to be that you're going to begin to do some jobs, small jobs here and there, and ask to be paid something so that you can save the money yourself? Or would your reality be you walk up to your parents and make a presentation on why this game is important to you, and then let them know what you are willing to do to earn the money? Can you see what I'm doing? So I'm giving you examples now. It's your job to think of what I'm saying and try to fit it into your own context. So what is going to be your current reality? Do you need to work extra? Do you need to make a presentation? Do you need to learn a skill? What do you need to do to help you manage those setbacks that you encountered? So your success in goal setting highly depends on you. Stop thinking it's about somebody out there. It's about you. You are the principal tool. You are the principal success metric for your own goal setting. So if you, the individual, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, it's not going to fall on your head. The results don't fall like that. You've got to be willing to do something. Okay? And then the next one is Of course, when you are adapting that goal to your current reality, you've got to ensure that it fits into your long-term plan. So still using the game example, is it that you're already thinking that in the future you'd love to create games for other people? So you're trying to see how the ones that have been created operate, so that you can have an idea of how to, begin to create something in that direction. How does it really tie, or is it just for leisure? If it is for leisure, you've got to ask yourself, how does this really tie to my long-term plan? Is it that you have seen that you work so hard, and after working so hard, you've decided that I've got to relax, but I don't just want to relax with any game that doesn't add to me. I want to relax with a game that builds my brain cells, because there are actually games like that. For example, there is this game I used to build my qualitative and quantitative skills. It's called Elevate App. It asks you some questions, so it teaches you across maths, across English. It breaks it down into different segments, and automatically the game is training your brain. It's brain training. So is it that sort of game that you're saying, okay, I don't just want to just play a game for playing a game's sake. I want a game that is training my brain. So, you've got to see how whatever it is that you're trying to achieve ties to your future goals, your future plans. Now, when you have done that, you've got to now ensure that your goals are SMART. I'm sure you've all heard of the SMART acronym before. S for specific. Yes, you've got to be specific. What exactly are you trying to achieve? M for measurable. How are you going to check and measure that what you want is you're actually on the way to it? A, it's achievable. So how are you going to ensure that within the time frame that you have set, it can work? Because there's nothing like unrealistic goals. What we have is unrealistic deadlines. Yes. So you are maybe something that that you're supposed to achieve in 1 year. You want to ensure you achieve it in 1 month, and you don't have the requisite resources to make that happen. Next thing you say, it's unachievable. It's not necessarily unachievable. You are the one who didn't do the due diligence of putting the right time frame to it. Now, R stands for relevance. Whatever goals you are setting, you must always ensure that it suits your future plans, where you are going. So I'll give you an example. I like to give examples to bring it home. I believe that I'm a world leader. And because I know that I'm a world leader, I really want to do work on the international stage. I know that it's important to not just have the English language. I must have English and another international language. So I'm learning French. I learned it when I was in secondary school and all that, but I want to learn it a whole lot more, because if I'm going to be on tables discussing policy with other world leaders, and maybe the other people on the table with me are French speaking, I want to be able to communicate with them. So again, I have this app that I'm learning French with and I'm practicing. So I'm making sure that daily, because every day I practice for, no matter how small, a few minutes on that app. I'm making sure that what I am doing, that goal I am setting, is relevant to my future plans, for my future destination. Do you see what I mean? And then, of course, it's got to be time bound. You must set deadlines. Don't just say, I'm learning it forever and ever and ever. Yes, it is okay for you to be a lifelong learner, but you see, your learning has to grow. So even if you're learning the same topic, so maybe you're moving from beginner level to intermediate, or from intermediate to expert. And as you go through those levels, complexity increases. Complexity here basically means how easy or difficult that thing is. It increases. So you can see that you're not just stuck in one spot. So don't try to set a goal and say it's forever. Be specific. Is it going to be for 1 month? Is it going to be for 1 week? Is it going to be for 1 quarter? Whatever that is, you've got to be specific. When you get to the end of your timeline and you can see that you did not achieve what you're supposed to achieve, set another timeline. Don't say, I'm such a failure. It's all over. My dear, it's not over. It's not over. So you set another one and you keep at it. The reason timelines are important is it is sort of rewiring your brain, telling your brain that we've got to do something. By so and so time, we've got to do something. And so it's you triggering your brain to act in a certain way. So don't be afraid of setting timelines and say, I won't meet it. No, don't worry about that. Set it, start working towards it. When you get to that goalpost, you would see that you are not where you were when you started, which is also progress. We want progress and not perfection. Okay? Then, last but not the least, as a tip for goal setting, you must write it down. Stop having your goals only in your head. No. Even the Bible says, write the vision and make it plain so that he that reads it can run with it. Write it down. Have books. Even me, I'm speaking to you now, and I have a book in front of me, because when I was preparing for this session, I had to make notes. And I've used this book so much. In fact, it's almost exhausted. I'll be starting a new one in a few days, because this is where I write my to-do list per day and per week. And as I'm doing things, I'm ticking them off. Okay. I don't know why this keeps tripping on and off, but please bear with me as long as you can hear my voice. So you've got to understand that you have to write things down. When you write things down, there's something it does to you, it does to your subconscious. It is telling your mind that we've got to do something. Because you see, before you write anything down, you had to think about it. You thought about it, you phrased it in a particular way, and then you wrote it down. See, even if you never get to open that book again, your mind begins to attract the things around you that can help you achieve what you have written down. I'm telling you, it sounds like magic, but it's not. It's for real. It happens. Write down your plan today. Write down where you see yourself in the next 5 years, what you're going to do in 2 years, what you're going to do in 1 year. Write it down as detailed as possible. Think properly about it and write it down. Trust me, if you close that book and never see that book again until 5 years, when you open that book in 5 years' time, you will see that many things in that book, you have already done it. Because there is something about you sitting down to think about an idea, assessing it, playing with it, then couching it in certain language, and then writing it down. You have told your mind that we have something to do. So when it sees an opportunity that will lead to that thing, it will tell you. When it sees someone, in fact, somebody comes and has a conversation with you, and somehow the conversation says something that reminds your brain of what you wrote down, everything begins to light up. It's almost as if you have alarm bells that, and you begin to say, oh, yes, we can do this, we can do that. And that's just it. So don't joke with writing down your goals. It's really, really critical. So now you might say, okay, so now we have written all these goals. How are we going to make sure that it moves from just being goals on paper to real-time action? Again, first things first, decide exactly what you want. Yes, why do you want this thing? Also, again, I love giving examples. So here, this is a Christian fiction novel that got published in January or February of this year. I started writing it last year. But I got the inspiration about this book in, I think, sometime in August of 2020. Yes. We can see today it's live, it's fresh, it's even on Amazon, and I have a physical copy here. So I decided that I had to write this book. Next thing, write the goal on paper, right? So I wrote it down. So I want to write this book. What is the book going to be about? Who will be the target audience? Can you see what I'm doing? I had to write. So because as I was writing it down, ideas began to come in and all that. Remember, it is setting your it is rewiring your brain, telling your subconscious, man, we've got work to do. Okay, now I set a deadline. I wanted this book to be ready by the end of 2020, December 2020. That was my target. Now, because writing a book is a major task, I didn't just say this book must be ready by December 2020. I had to break other deadlines. So, for example, I have to write, right? I have to give what I have written to an editor to edit. I have to ensure that the person that is going to draw the book cover does her own part of things. I have to ensure that the person that is going to print is aware that he has to print something. So I had to break down that big task of writing a book into several small bits, and each of them had deadlines. So this is a trick. I find when I have a session with other young leaders that many times they're overwhelmed by the big plans they have. If you just go and write in your goal list or on your to-do list, write a book. Even you, When you see that thing on your to-do list, you almost have a heart attack because it looks so big and like, oh my God, can I do it? Can I do it? But if you break it down, so for example, this week, all you just have to do is draw a mind map of how the book is going to be. And then next week, you say, we'll decide on the title of the book. Upper week, we say, we look out for illustrators who can draw the design that we see, the vision that we see for the book cover. Can you see what I am doing? I'm breaking it down. Then I can say, okay, maybe for the next week, write chapter 1, write a particular aspect of the book. So when you have broken it down that way, it doesn't look scary. So if you see on your to-do list that, oh, conduct interview with so-and-so person in Rwanda to get information about the book, it's manageable. You can just pick up your phone and call the person as opposed to write a book. You won't have heart attack. So always ensure that that big goal that you have, it must have a deadline. And now, because there are a lot of things that are needed for that deadline to happen, you've got to itemize what are all the things I need to do. Create sub-deadlines for them. Now, you are making a list of everything that is needed to achieve that goal, no matter how silly you think it is. You can see now, I've told you, we need, I have to write. I need an editor to edit. We need a printer who is going to print. We need someone who is an illustrator, because I wanted a picture of beautiful ladies that represented the different kinds of ladies we have in Africa, both slim, both plump, both dark, both fair. I wanted that representation. So I had to scout for illustrators who could do the job. So there was a particular week or 2 weeks where my job was scouting through Instagram, looking for illustrators, making an announcement on my WhatsApp status saying, do you know an illustrator? Please let me know so I can check them out. And that was how I found the lady who did this. She's a Nigerian, but she lives in South Africa. And we eventually settled on her. And as you can see, she did a really amazing job. So you can see that breaking it down into little steps made it easy. So the book cover was ready by October, because again, there was a deadline. Now, the reason this planning is very important is when you plan from the beginning before you jump into a goal, it makes it easier, because at every point in time, you know what you are doing. So, and you don't forget anything that is important. Many times, the reason people forget important aspects of their goals is because they didn't sit down to plan. Trust me, that time you will take to sit down, think through the whole idea from beginning to the end, and plan is critical for the success of your goal. You don't just jump into a goal. Please don't do that. Take your time to sit and plan. Now, after you have planned for deadlines, you have written every task that needs to be done, and you have broken it down into manageable bits, the next thing you've got to do is you must schedule it into a comprehensive plan. So, for example, the book being ready is just one aspect. There was going to be a book launch where people were going to be invited. Books were going to be distributed to schools across the country, to undergraduate students in universities. So you can see that just the book being ready was not enough. I had to schedule it into a bigger plan of a book launch, having other people attend that book launch, having the books available and being delivered to schools across the country. So always ensure that the goal you have, what is the big picture? What is the major plan? Try to schedule it into your life, into that comprehensive plan that you have. And then you must prioritize your list. This is another place where a lot of people get it wrong. So you have written all the goals, all the to-dos on your checklist, right? But you have not been able to prioritize which one should you do when. So there is this thing I do where at the beginning of the week, I write all the things I'm expected to do in that week. And then for each day, I select the ones that are supposed to be done per day. Basically, when I'm going through the things I'm supposed to do per day, I number them. What is going to be the first thing I'm going to do? Number 1, number 2, number 3. And I ensure that as much as I'm numbering them in order of priority, I'm also numbering them in a way that I do not feel fatigued. So we're going to talk about that when we get to prioritization. But what I just want you to note here now under creating an action plan is that you must prioritize. Give it cadres, levels of importance, so that you're able to do what you're supposed to do at the right time. And then, last but not the least, is always do something every day towards your big goal. So, I came into the US a few days ago because I'm starting my master's program in a few weeks, and for me to have gotten here, the whole process of the application started last year, because I had gotten the admission first last year, but I couldn't afford the fee, so I had to put it off to this year. And this year again, I got a partial scholarship. I noticed that, oh, I still don't have enough money to go, and I had to do a crowdfunding. So every day I was doing something incremental towards the big goal of showing up here. So it got to a point I needed to submit certain documents to the school. I got to do it. It got to a point I needed to show up for my interview at the US Embassy. I had to do it. It got to a point where I needed to book my flight. I had to do it. And then, of course, I needed to show up at the airport. I needed to come through security. And I am here. So the point is, you must begin to make sure that whatever goal that you have, no matter how big it is, try to ask yourself, what little can I do every day towards that? As a matter of fact, there are certain courses that I'm supposed to be doing by September that I had to start learning a bit of it from last year, just because I wanted to prepare. I wanted to do something to move me closer to my big goal. So don't be afraid of your goals. They might seem so big. Oh, you want to be the first, maybe some so from your village or from your country or whatever that is. Break it down. I'll give another example. So there is this position I would like to hold in one of the international agencies in the world. And I went to do my research on, because they put out a call for a particular role in that organization. So I went on their website, and the number one thing I saw there was an MPA. MPA is a Master's in Public Administration, amongst other things. And I smiled to myself. I'm saying, yes, I'm on my way, because that is the program I'm enrolled for. So there is that big picture, that big position I really want to hold here in the world. But I know that I'm not just going to wake up and land there. I have to do something. And one of the things I have to do is to take this particular master's program. And I am doing it because I know what the big picture is. So you've always got to ask yourself, what is that little thing I can do every day towards that big picture? Okay? Now, let's talk about priority, because now you might say, okay, so you've told us how to tips for goal setting. You've told us how to create an action plan. So how do I know which one to be number one and all that? First things first, always have a checklist. And in that your checklist, you've got to number it. Now, there's a phrase that is popularly used called eat that frog. And basically it's trying to say that when you go to your checklist and you want to act, always ensure that you do the most difficult or the most important thing first before you do other things in your day. And the reason is, when you do that thing which is more important, or which is more difficult, or which has a higher priority, and you conclude it, you feel a sense of accomplishment, and it just makes you feel that, yes, if I have done this one, I can take on any other thing. Nothing is difficult for me again, because I have done this most important task. So you've got to ensure that you know what that is for you, because this would vary from person to person. What might be your priority today might not be priority for me, or it might not be priority for even you tomorrow or next week. The next thing about prioritization is you must learn to batch your task. Batching is just like grouping your task into different buckets. So for example, some tasks, when you look at them on your to-do list, they look simple, right? Some tasks, when you look at them, they really look hard. That one, you really need to concentrate, no disturbance, that kind of deep work where you know that you don't even want an alarm to ring. You don't want someone's phone to ring around you. You don't want to even just barge into the room where you're working, because you know that you need full concentration. So those are like really mindful tasks, deep work. And then there are mindless tasks. There are tasks that you do without even thinking about it. So some of you are eating. You are not particularly saying, this food, now I am controlling it, going straight to my mouth. No, you are just eating, and you're probably watching something or reading a novel. It's a mindless task, right? So you've got to know what are those things for you. Now, you've also got to ensure that when you are prioritizing your tasks, try to ensure that you have a mix of mindful work, and mindless work. And I've given you an example of what a mindful work is, the deep work where you really have to be concentrating. Maybe, for example, as I'm speaking with you now, I need my full concentration here. I can't be speaking with you and reading another book. I can't be speaking with you and writing something else. I can't be speaking with you and eating, because of course that would be disrespectful, right? I have to put my full attention here. Now, a mindless task, on the other hand, will be like, so I'm eating and I'm reading a novel while in away time, or I'm eating and I'm watching a video because the video is just for knowledge sake, just for me to get information. I'm not particularly trying to write an exam and pass in it. Do you see what I mean? So you've got to have a mix so that you do not feel fatigued. So whenever I'm writing my checklist for the day, the things I need to achieve, after doing maybe the serious things, at some point in the day where I know that, okay, at this point in my day, I get weak and tired, but I still want to achieve something, I plug in a mindless task that is still important, but it doesn't really require too much brain power, too much energy. And so that's where I can decide to go lie on my bed and I'm playing my French game. I'm studying, but because the French lessons is in a game format, I do not feel under any pressure whatsoever. Or it's on my to-do list to read a book for 30 minutes. And I don't want to, I can decide to just chill somewhere and read, as opposed to, sitting down in a laptop, full concentration. I can relax. So what that does is it helps you so that you don't feel like you're just going from one deep, serious work into another deep, serious work, and then you now feel too fatigued. No, you've got to try to mix the easier things. So, for example, maybe listening to a podcast, while you're taking a walk or you're exercising, it's a good use of your time. So do you see what I mean now? So prioritization is really important. Write down what you need to do, number it so that you know what are you doing first, what are you doing second. And this means that for you to even know what you should be doing first, you've got to know what your energy cycles are. Some people are not morning people. They say, oh, I'm not a morning person, but just leave me at night. I can do anything. So as I'm speaking to you now, it's, let me see. It's about 5:54 a.m. here. So I started speaking with you at about 5:15 a.m. But you are at 10:54 in Lagos, Nigeria. So some people say, no, I'm not a morning person. Call me back at night. Let's have the conversation at night. There is no right or wrong answer to whether you're a morning person or a night person. What is important is arrange your work, arrange your goals around your own energy so that you can do the things you really desire to do and achieve the goals you want to achieve. That is actually what is important. But you know what? Remember that you are still young. You're still under your parents' roof. And so they might expect you to be doing certain things at a certain time. You can't be claiming, I'm a morning, I'm a night person. Save that one for when you go to your own house, right? I'm kidding, but you get what I mean, right? So it's really important that you know your energy cycles and arrange your work. So for the times when you know that you are really sharp, you're very creative, assign your deep work there. You need to study. You need to watch that video and take your notes. Then the times where you can see that your energy is already dissipating, but you still have some tasks to do, assign the things that do not really require too much brain power. So for example, playing an educational game, or even if it's just a fun game, or watching a movie, or reading a novel, or gisting with your friends, know what it is for you and do it. Okay? And then I have to talk about this distraction. We are in a highly distracted world. And because we are in that world now, in fact, it's going to get more distracted in the coming years. With all the tech tools and everything coming up, notifications will keep going on. Personally, I have no notifications on my phone. Yes. The only thing that rings out on any of my devices is a phone call. And if I know I'm about to do work and I don't want to hear your sound, it's going to be on silent. So that the only time I go to any app is when I choose to come there. So my Instagram is not making noise, disturbing my life. No. I only go to Instagram when I choose to go to Instagram. The notifications will not disturb me. Same for WhatsApp. My phone is not pinging up and down, distracting me. You, most especially you young people, please, I beg of you, avoid distraction. Yes, avoid distractions as much as you can. Don't allow anything to make you always keep going off when you're supposed to be focused and doing deep work. And then you're being distracted, your phone is beeping up and down, or you're playing game. No. Avoid distractions. so that you can concentrate and achieve your goals. All right. So I've talked through a number of things for you because I wanted you to see that you don't just wake up and the results of goals fall on your head. You, the individual, you are the major success metric. You are the major success factor in your goal. You've got to be diligent about how you are putting your plans together. You've got to be diligent about how you execute, because if you are not executing, nobody's going to execute for you. You've got to be willing to execute. Okay, so you might say, okay, so yes, I hear you, Ugochi. I'm going to try. What if it is so difficult? If it is such a difficult task, same rules apply. Set SMART goals. Break that big goal into manageable bits. Set milestones. By so and so date, I should have finished this. Be as specific as possible and do the hardest, most important task first, so that it gives you that encouragement that yes, I've got that. So if I've done that, I can do other things. And then, of course, implement the 80-20 rule, where we're saying 20% of your activities actually give you 80% of your results. So you've got to find out what is that 20% you need to do that will lead to that your 80%. So I hope that this has been a very useful session for you. I hope that you've taken practical tips for goal setting and how to prioritize. I'll be happy to hear stories of how, after the things you took out today, you were able to go back home, write down your goals, write down your plans, and started taking steps. And then Mr. Olakazim will reach out to me in a few months or a few years and say, so and so person has achieved so and so. I'll be like, yes, good job, right? So I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear your success story. Please feel free to share. But remember, if after you do all the plans, you don't take action, it's going to be a waste, right? So it's important that you create the plan, but it's more important that you get up and do the work involved to achieve the plan. Thank you so much for having me. I hope this has been a good one for everyone.
Thank you so much. I mean, that was a loaded one. Round of applause. I have my teenagers in house, so they're going to ask you questions. So let's go with you first.
Hey, Ma, please, I want to ask you, how do you set a SMART goal?
How will you set a SMART goal?
Yes, Ma.
Okay, so from the acronym SMART, S is specific. So you've got to ask yourself, what exactly do I want to do? So somebody can say, I want to be, I'm currently a size 70 kg, but I want to be size 50 kg. So now that is you being specific. You're trying to lose weight. So you want to move from 70 kg to 50 kg. You're trying to move from 70 kg to 50 kg. Now, M is for measurable. You've got to be able to measure it. So how are you going to know that you have moved from 70 kg to 50 kg? How are you going to ensure that you are moving? So are you going to say, so every week I'm going to measure myself on the scale, blah, blah, blah. It's got to be measurable, so that you're going to say, okay, truly, I moved from 70 kg to 68, but I really want to go to 50. What can I do? So can you see what I'm doing there? Then A has to be achievable. So you don't just set a goal, I have to move from 70 kg to 50 kg in 1 week. Remember that one of the things I mentioned was there are no unrealistic goals. What we have are unrealistic deadlines. So if you're saying you want to move from 70 kg to 50 kg in 1 week, is that really achievable? Through correct measures. I'm not talking about you using wrong measures that can be detrimental to your health. Through using approved methods of weight loss that would not affect your health. Is that really achievable? Then R stands for relevant. So why is this weight loss relevant for where you are going? So maybe you have decided that you're supposed to take part in a marathon, or you're taking part in a competition for your school, and you've got to be a particular weight so that you can give in your best. So you can see how it is relevant. So this weight loss journey is relevant to your future goals. Or you might say you want to lose weight because you notice that you're beginning to have health concerns, and if you lose this weight, your health is going to get better. So you are tying your goal to something relevant to your long-term plan. So it has to be relevant. And then T is time bound. There has to be a time frame. So I'm going to work on going from 70 kg to 50 kg in 3 months. Can you see? So you're being specific about the time frame you want to achieve this. So by the time you start arranging your meal plan, exercises, and everything, you're arranging it over a time frame. And you see that by the end of 3 months, even if you are not 50 kg, you are probably no longer on 70 if you followed through on the activities you are supposed to do. So you're most likely going to be hovering around 55 or even the 50 because you follow through on the plan. So that's why it's important to have a time frame. When you have a time frame, it gives you a sense of urgency to work towards your goal, as opposed if you just leave it forever and ever. I'm sure working towards being 50 kg, you won't go anywhere. I hope that answers the question. Back to you. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, about setting timelines, if you set a timeline and you don't achieve it, what do you do after then? Like it's failed, and like because you have other, like let's say today now I plan on reading this, and tomorrow I already have other books, and tomorrow is already booked, so something came up. Like anyway, you see that when you're setting timelines, you have a plan B or something. I don't really know what to do in that situation.
Okay, so if I get your question right, you're asking that if you set a timeline and you do not achieve what you're supposed to achieve within that timeline, and you can't move it to the next day because there are already other things that you need to do, how do you manage it, right? So again, it boils down to prioritization. How important is that particular task? You must know that it is you who created the plan. So you are not captive to your plan. Your plan is supposed to be captive to you, not the other way around. Okay, so we've got to understand that your plans are not necessarily to, should I say, constrict you. At the end of the day, you are the human being involved. And that's why you see, they said there are no unrealistic goals, there are unrealistic timelines. Sometimes you might think what you want to do would only take you 30 minutes, and 2 hours you are still there. So that should tell you that going forward, when you're creating timelines, you've got to be practical, realistic about the time frame needed to accomplish certain tasks. However, to this question, when you check and you said that thing you were supposed to do today is still very important, it is an important task. When you compare it to the things you're supposed to do the next day and it is still more important, move it to number 1. Because priority is dependent on the importance of the task and the sequence of the task. So how important is it for your goal? How important is it for where you are trying to go, what you are trying to achieve? Then you have to move it up so that you can get it done, because it is very important. Now, if you check on the other hand, it is not number 1 in terms of priority. Put it where it is on the schedule. Give it the right number. And when it's time, you get to it. But remember that I want you to know that you are not captive to your list. If you check, you do not finish today, you move it. You create another timeline for it. Don't say, because it did not happen today, that's the end. No, it's not the end. There is still time.
Great. That's just wonderful. One more last question from Ore.
How do you get your book published?
How do I get my book published?
Yes, so the question is, how did you get your book published? What's the process of publishing a book?
Okay, so all my books, I have self-published them on Amazon. So I didn't really have a publisher per se. I self-published because there is a feature on Amazon where you and I can publish our books without necessarily going through a publisher. The world is now changing such that you do not necessarily need a publisher to publish your book. All you need to do is get the book ready, go on Amazon. There are steps to going on Amazon anyway. You go on Amazon KDP Publishing. If you Google Amazon KDP Publishing, it will show you information. I know also that there are people who have written books on how to publish on Amazon. And once you publish on Amazon, what that means is you don't even have to print a physical copy. People from all over the world, once they want to buy your book, they go there, click on the book, make their purchase, and Amazon prints on demand for them. So I only came from Nigeria with 1 copy of this for myself because I knew that I was going to buy more on Amazon, right? And the same for my children's storybooks also. all were self-published on Amazon. I just put out the information there. And when people want to buy from other countries in the world, they buy from there. However, I have a printer in Nigeria. So after my book is published, I give the manuscript to my printer and he prints physical copies for the Nigerian audience. Then because I'm really someone who is big on my work, transcending several countries, I ensure it's on Amazon, which is a global platform, so that anybody that wants to buy it from any part of the world can buy it.
So much.
Back
This
to you.
has been an overwhelming one for us. Last words so that we can just wrap this up. Last words from you.
Okay, so I'll end with the definition of a goal from dictionary.com, and it says a goal is an objective or target that someone is trying to reach or achieve. You've got to know what your goal is. You've got to set it following the guidelines that we have given you this morning. You've also got to learn to prioritize. And remember, like I have said, it's not enough for you to write down the beautiful plans and have those plans. What is more important is for you to take the steps towards achieving them. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we have a great next section coming. What's that about, Shay?
Okay, so we having a fellow teenager like me coming to like do a poetry or something. Their name is Oshisoya Everyday's Olagunju. Yes. So you guys stay tuned. She'll be coming up soon. Bye.
Good everyone. My name is Evidence Ochisoya. This is our usual 15-minute break, but you're having 5 minutes today. I would like to give a talk on failure. Let's start with the definition. Failure is the state of inability to do the normal function. When you say normal function, you don't like have the time, like the state of being doing the normal function. So, I would like to give a talk on there is an adage that I strongly believe that if your determination to succeed is strong enough, nothing can overtake you, nothing can come over your way. If you have the determination that I must get to this place, and you will be determined, you have to focus. Determination is very, very important in a life schedule. So failure is something everybody has to experience in this life. A person cannot do without failure, because failure is the key point to success. Now let's bring this failure into the theme of this week, career. Now I'll give a good example of Kanu, a football player. Kanu once had an heart effect. So his wife advised him to go for a medical checkup. So when he got to the doctor told him that he had an effect on his heart. So the doctor advised him to quit his career. But due to the help of God and due to the help of determination he had, he said, no, I am determined to be a footballer. And he's not going to quit. He's not going to allow any of his medical or his physical problem to affect his career. So I would like, failure is like he was somehow failed. He failed in that area, that aspect of his life. But due to determination, he did not allow the failure to overtake him. Now to round my topic up, in conclusion, I would like to say, there's nothing you have to face in this life. Just be focused, be determined, because a person that fails to plan should be ready that any of his plan is going to fail. Thank you very much.
Guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that beautiful presentation from Evidence. So today's last speaker is online and ready to join us in the name of Mr. Japhet Omojuwa, so popularly known as JJ Omojuwa. So I'll just read his profile briefly. JJ Omojuwa is the founder and chief strategist, Alpha Reach. He's an author, political commentator, and a social media expert. He has just been recently appointed board member of Global Think Tank Halifax. J.J. Omojuwa is a known expert who has mastered the use of the new media as a tool for social and economic development, a highly committed individual to human capital development with a depth of knowledge on the use of technology for personal improvement. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, join me in welcoming JJ Omojuwa. Hi.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Good to see you.
The pleasure
How
is
you
mine.
doing?
Thank you very, very much. I'm very, very fine.
Thank you
very much.
for creating time for us today.
Thank you. How many minutes do I have?
Okay. 45 minutes. So 30 minutes for you, then 15 minutes for questions. So
okay,
I like the fact that you are straight to the point. So let's just go on with your session immediately. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me say it's a pleasure to be here. I'd like to thank my brother, my friend from way back our days in university, back in the 2010s, Ola Kazim. It's such a pleasure to be here. And I'm excited to do this because I believe that you cannot save a country if you do not ensure that the young people are better focused and indoctrinated on the right values and the essence of life. And let me congratulate you if you're here today listening to me, because first of all, it means that you've listened to other speakers before me, because there's been, from the flyers that I saw, there's been loads of speakers on this platform. And I joined the session today early, and I listened to the other speakers. And really and truly, the one thing that is certain is that you're going to be hearing certain things all over again. But when it comes to learning, repetition is powerful. If you really, really want to learn something well, you've got to actually repeat that thing. So I'm learning French, for instance, these days. I'm learning French, and what I found out is that I need to go back to something I already learned before it becomes a part of me. So congratulations to you for being here. It would be sad 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and down the years, if after being a part of a platform like this, you look back and you're not able to say that you made the best use of it. The reason why our host, Ola Kazim, using focus counseling, the reason why I was able to convene a platform like this and have all these extraordinary speakers is because he's done some things with his life that has made people trust him. I do not think that any of the speakers are getting paid for engaging you. And don't get it twisted. All of these people, at least most of them, get paid to talk. So the reason why he was able to do that is because he has built legitimacy over the years, and people have come to trust him. And he has also, over the years, was able to also be intentional about picking his friends. I'm tempted to speak to you with respect to the things I've read through the years, because I'm going to prioritize the essence of reading to change your life. But I think I'd rather speak to you from my own experience. I'm closing in on my 40s, right? I'm closing on my 40s. I'm in my late 30s. And I can tell you for free, you don't have to pay me anything for me to tell you that. If you're 15 now, before you realize it, you are going to be 30. The years are going to run by very, very fast. If you're 20 now, almost like tomorrow morning, you're going to be 40. I remember vividly the things I was doing when I was 10. I remember the things I was interested in. I remember very much the things that I did when I was 20. Of course, it's easy for me to remember when I was 29 and 30. If you refuse to take anything away from these conversations, I'm going to outline certain things that you must take away. And I'm very certain that if you were listening to the other speakers, some of them would have said it either directly or indirectly. But it's important for you, if you're here and you're not writing, you're not serious. It is very important for you to document this experience and to come back to the things that have been said by these speakers, and hopefully the things that I will say today and those that will speak after me. Have the utmost respect for time. Have the utmost respect for time. And I mean that in every sense of the word. Have the utmost respect for time. If you respect time, you will make better choices. If you respect time, you will choose better friends. If you respect time, you will not be on your way to someone's house and be 2 hours away and be telling them you are 15 minutes away. Time is the one thing that is not stopping. This event will stop. You will go to rest and sleep. People will die. Empires will come up and come down. New companies will rise. Strong ones will go down. Lionel Messi will go to PSG. Cristiano Ronaldo will retire someday. The World Cup will come next year. The Olympics will come after that. Buhari will hand over in 2023. There will be a new American president in 2025. Many things will happen. But one thing that will not happen is that time will not stop. Time keeps moving. So when you look at the hand of the clock, And it goes tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. It looks like it is going slowly. And really, it is going slowly. But do not be afraid of someone that is running very, very fast, that they might catch up with you. Be afraid of someone that will never stop moving. And that's time. Time never stops moving. So when you are busy wasting your time, you are wasting your life. You do not waste time. You are wasting your own life. Because time cannot be wasted. Time is it's infinite. It's immortal. So when somebody is telling you stop wasting time, what they should be telling you is stop wasting your life. Because when you are 50, time will be here. When you are 70, time will be here. When you are dead, time will be here. I say that to say that everything I'm going to say after now is built on your respect for time. In every sense of the word. You cannot diminish the essence of time. When you do that, you realize that you can build your life and your future on a stronger pedestal if you respect time. Every new year, people make new resolutions, basically things that they intend to start doing in the new year, things that they intend to stop doing. In my opinion, those people are not serious. Because if you had respect for time, you would not wait for the beginning of a new year to change something that needs to change. If you had respect for time, you know it's a sign of unseriousness that something that you believe has to change today in August of 2021, you have to wait to January 1st to now change it. Maybe something you need to start or something you need to stop. You must have respect for each moment and prioritize each day and understand the essence and power of each week. When you respect the small things, the small units of time, it's almost impossible to have a bad year and even a bad life. So you have games on your phone. And don't get it twisted, you're young people, you're supposed to have fun. But be very strategic and intentional about the kinds of fun that you have. I assure you, you are young, but before you realize it, you're about to get married. Before you realize it, you have kids. Before you realize it, you are on your own. Whether you come from a rich family or you come from a poor family, when you are 40, you cannot blame your father and mother for your life anymore, because people will be looking at you, how is this 40-year-old man still blaming his father and his mother or some uncle? So you can apportion blame now in your teenage years, maybe even in your early 20s. But I'll show you, a time will come when you blame other people for a responsibility, people will immediately be able to assess you as an irresponsible person. So have respect for time now. Have respect for time now. If you're going to play with your friends, decide, okay, I'm going to play with my friends for 1 hour and stick to 1 hour. If you're going to watch a game, decide, okay, I'm watching this game for 2 hours and stick to 2 hours. Don't wake up in the day without knowing what you're going to do. Do not. Do not waste a day in your life. Do not. And the beauty of this is that a time will come when you would have done so much with your life, you can at least spend the entire day just lying down, not doing much, because you've earned the right to rest. You should commit to investing in your future by prioritizing your today now. You must live in the moment now. You must be present now. Your generation is the most blessed generation. There's never been a time in our history where a man can be in Washington and join you at a conference in Lagos. There's never been a time in our history where a man or a woman can be living in Ibadan and be working for a company in San Francisco and be working for another company in the United Kingdom and be collecting $5,000 for this from this company and be collecting another $10,000 from this company and be spending dollars and pounds in a Naira economy. There's never been a time to be so blessed where if you are skilled, they can speak of unemployment and unemployment statistics and unemployability. If you are skilled, if you have the right skills, companies will be begging to have you. They'll be poaching you and looking for you. It's a function of how you use your time. There'll be those amongst you, because you are in Nigeria, that may desire to study one course or the other in university. Actually, not those. The likelihood is that most of you will end up studying the things you never even intended to study, because after all said and done, you just really wanted to get into university. I assure you that's fine. It's fine to want to study electrical electronics and end up with plant physiology. It's okay to want to attend University of Lagos and end up with a new federal university in some village you did not hear of or did not know of until you got that admission. That's fine, I assure you, that's okay. It's okay to want to study computer engineering and you woke up and they said they were only able to give you admission to study forestry and water resources. Those are fine. It's fine. You know why it's fine? Because your generation is that generation where nobody cares what you studied in school. We care, what can you do? Up until yesterday, my friend who runs a tech company was telling me about someone he was interviewing who was asking to be paid 600,000 naira. 600,000 naira. And I asked my friend, why is the person asking for 600,000 naira? My friend said that the person's expertise is in UX design, basically top-notch graphic design. And I was like, wow, you better pay him before another company takes him away from you. My friend admitted that this person is quite good at what he does. And they were able to negotiate to 450,000. And I told my friend, I said, be careful about negotiating him down, because he's got such a skill that can be useful to him anywhere in the world. So I said, my friend, don't waste time. Hire this person. That person studied plant physiology or something like that in school. There was no part of the conversation where they were discussing what he studied in university. None. Because it's not my friend's business. It's not the business of my friend's company, what you studied in school. They have certain problems they need to solve. You have the skills to solve it. They want you to come and solve it and get paid for it. So when that time comes and you find yourself in university, remember that you can be studying that course that they chose for you and also be skilling up yourself in something that the world currently needs. I beg of you, my friends, after President Buhari, another president will come, and then another president, and then another president. A time will never come when we will be satisfied with our president. How do I know this? I know this because I've been to almost 50 countries around the world, and some of them the most developed countries: Canada, the United States, France, the United Kingdom, Brazil, Guatemala, Europe, Asia, the Gulf countries. And one thing is consistent, and also across the continent, where a lot of the countries are poor, the continent of Africa. And one thing is consistent across all of these countries. People are never satisfied with their leaders. Never. The intensity is different, of course, across countries, but people are generally not satisfied with their leaders. I say that to say that, and so imagine even Nigeria with worse problems, with problems that have outlasted us, outlasted our thinking. Problems that have defied government, whether they are from the south or from the north, whether they are Christian or Muslim, whether they are PhD holders or ex-military men. Problems that have defied time, unemployment, unemployability, maternal mortality, child mortality, no water supply, inadequate roads, inadequate housing, disease outbreaks, insecurity, poor educational system. We can list these problems forever. My friends, you must determine, and that's the previous speaker was saying that, you must set it in your mind and decide today that when the time comes and they are discussing Nigeria's unemployment problems, you will not be one of them. You will be employed. You will be an employer of labor. And I'm not asking you to pray. Prayer is very, very good. Prayer is very good. I pray. Prayer is very good. I pray. But you see, the thing that is common amongst everyone in this space right now, you know what is common to all of us? I'll tell you some of the things that are common to all of us. I guess maybe it's possible that some of you don't believe in God, but there'll probably be very few, very, very few of you that don't believe in God. So most of us in this space have God. So all of us have God. So you cannot use God as an advantage because God belongs to all of us. Most of us also pray. So again, you cannot use prayer as an advantage because all of us also pray. In life, on this planet, people will not pay you for what other people can do, what almost everybody can do. They will pay you for what is scarce, what is rare. So if you are skilled, if you know how to dig wells, you know how to dig wells. That's a skill. It's a skill. But very many people can dig wells. Many people. If you know how to shout and say, Ikeja, 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 Obalende, 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 Obalende. That's a skill, to shout, to call people to a bus. That's a skill. But guess what? Everybody here can shout. When push comes to shove and poverty slaps you, you will shout. That's a skill. You must go out of your way to look out for the skills that are essential for today and for the future. When you go on Google, what do you search for? What do you look for on Google? Are you searching for naked women and naked men? Are you looking out for pornographic videos? Are you just looking out for football results and other such things? Well, congratulations to you, because most people are doing the same thing like you, and that's why most people have ended up poor. But if you go on Google and search for jobs of the future and look at the list of those jobs of the future and then decide, okay, I want to learn this particular one. One of the beauties of your generation is that you don't have to go to university to learn the skills that are saving the world now. You don't have to. You don't have to. 5 weeks ago, I decided that the French I learned in secondary school was not enough for me. So I decided to start attending French classes. On the 12th of July, when my class started, and today, I have gone from being able to say basic things in French to, if I travel to Paris today, I'll be able to tell them I want a room. I'll be able to tell them what food I want to eat and where I want it. I'll be able to tell them where I work, who I am, my interests. I'll be able to converse in French. Not like an expert, but I've been to France a couple of times, and I was like a dumb person because I could not even say anything other than merci beaucoup, bonjour, bonsoir. But today I can say a lot of things. Just 4 weeks of learning a language. 4 weeks. if I continue, so also what I also do is that instead of playing games on my phone, I have an app, Duolingo, where I'm learning French. I also have another app, Langoulia, where I'm learning how to conjugate in French. I also have another app where I'm learning how to read in French. I have apps that are teaching me that thing. I made a commitment and I'm sticking to it. By December, my French would have been extraordinary. Still not an expert in French, but I would not be the same person with respect to this particular skill. The point I'm making is everything starts with a decision. I want to speak French. I want to learn coding. I want to learn programming. I want to learn data analytics. I want to learn about other countries. I want to learn history. I want to improve my knowledge of Nigeria. I want to improve my knowledge of this and that. You do not wait for your lecturer or your teacher to do that for you. It's your responsibility. At the end of this year, another 200,000, 300,000 Nigerians will graduate from universities. So graduation is not a big deal. Not anymore, I'm sorry. Not anymore. The big deal is the skills you have. And more often than not, you will not pick up those skills in classes. You pick them up by deciding this is what I want to learn. Those of you that are blessed or fortunate enough, all of us are blessed. Those of you that are fortunate enough to have parents that are willing to commit some money for extra classes here and there, tell them, go on the internet, search for the things that you are interested in, but not just interested in, that have value in the future of in today's economy, in today's global economy. And decide, okay, I want to learn this for the next 1 year. Alongside your schooling. Alongside your schooling. By the time you are graduating from university, you're not just leaving university with a certificate. You are leaving university with some skills that you spend time learning. Because you go to class from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. In that period, there's a lot of things you're not doing because you have free times. After class, what are you doing? And I'm not saying you should not have fun. I'm not saying you should not spend time with your friends. I'm not saying you should not play. I'm not saying you should not watch football or basketball or volleyball or whatever you want to spend your time doing. I'm saying that decide, okay, this is the time for this is the time for that. See, sir. And don't just wake up in the morning and you see your friends. And you ask them, where are you people going? I just strolling. Make a stroll with you now. You cannot live a life like that. That's a life that will prove too costly for you in the future. You must live an intentional life. You must skill up yourself. You must respect time. If you tell someone that you're coming to see them at 3 o'clock, you must get there before 3 o'clock. If something happened on the road, you must send them a message before 3 o'clock to say, oh, something is happening on the road, they blocked the road. It's unlikely that I get to you before 3 o'clock. I'm so sorry. Don't wait till 4 o'clock to send them a message, because that's what most people do. If you are like most people, you are not likely to succeed. You must differentiate yourself. Write the word down. Differentiate yourself. You must differentiate yourself. When people think of you, they must think of you with certain qualities that are not common to everyone. I can't remember the last time I've seen my friend Ola Kazim, but whenever it calls for me to come on this platform, I come, because he earned that because of his personality and the values that I knew him with some 10, 15 years ago, even more. You must choose your friends. You must be intentional about the kind of people you want to roll with. If somebody is failing in class, but they can do guy, you want to join guys. Well, in 10 years, the equation will be different. Those guys are the ones that are going to be wishing that they can have access to you when you're on TV, if you go the right path. I assure you, you are in secondary school now. You're young, and congratulations, it's a good time to be young. But time is running, and time is going. Already. What you are going to become in 10 years, you have already started becoming. You will not become what you want to become in 10 years. In 10 years, you are already becoming it now, according to the things that you're doing. It's such a blessed generation. Look at the power of technology. Look at the things that your phones can do. You must let technology serve you. You don't serve technology. You must use social media. You don't let social media use you. The world is full of opportunities. There was a time many people could only dream of what they could do within their own boundaries, within their own countries. Now, with certain skills, they're looking for you all over the world. At a time when people are desperate to go to Canada, I will go to Canada and come back. I won't stay there. That does not mean that those that are desperate to go are doing a bad thing. I'm just saying that when you skill up yourself and you develop yourself and develop certain skills that help you to network and meet people, the right people, you have better choices. You can say, no, I'm not coming to your country. I got a job recently. One of on the introduction, it was mentioned. They asked me if I wanted to come and live in the US to do it. I said, no, I'd live in Nigeria, but I'd come to the US to work. Most of what I would do will be virtual. You cannot make choices like that if you have limited skills, if you have a limited personality. You will not remember everything that will be said today because life will happen. You get home and there will be no food at home for some of you. You get home, somebody is going to start slapping you for something you did before you left home. You get home and there's a disconnect between the things you've heard today and your reality at home. It is what it is. But avoid living a life of excuses. The organization that set this thing up is called Focus Counseling. Pick that word, focus. 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 For some of you, you are the future of your family. If you do not succeed, your family is in trouble. An entire family's destiny depends on your success. Carry it. Carry that pressure. It's fine. Carry it. Carry it. Just be methodical about your life. Be intentional. Ladies, there are men out there that are going to come and give you 1,000 naira, 5,000, 30,000 naira, if you are lucky. And I mean lucky. I assure you, if you are able to refuse those little seemingly sweet proposals, and you're able to say no and delay your gratification, the rewards are going to be very big, massive, massive, massive. If you're able to make choices based on the future you want for yourself rather than just today, it's going to be massive. Congratulations to all of you that you're among the privileged people to listen to all the people you've been listening to. I'm very certain that some extraordinary and powerful things have been said. But there's a lot to hear and a lot to listen to. Ultimately, what changes your life is the actions you take. You must take action. You must take action. Make the internet work for you. Make technology work for you. Have respect for time. Have respect for people. Be intentional about your friends. Don't let yourself fall in the wrong gangs. Choose the friends that you want to be with. And always make that choice intentionally. I will stop here so I can take questions. Thank you. Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Thank you so much.
Yes, please,
Thank
I
you
can hear
so
you
much.
now.
Thank you so much. That was power packed, straight to the point, direct and piercing. I wish all our teenagers will take your word for it and be better leaders. Right now, I'm joined by Shei and Ayo. I'm representing some of our teenagers, so they have some questions for you. So, Ayo?
Okay. Sir, what if like what you want to be in the future doesn't necessarily like need you to study a course? Can you just like drop out of school and focus on that particular thing you want to be?
Interesting.
Do I answer the question right away?
Yes, please.
Okay, so that's Ayo, right?
Yes, that's Ayo.
Ayo, that's a very, very good question. And a lot of stories have been said about the Bill Gates of this world, the Mark Zuckerbergs of this world, and a couple of other people that actually dropped out of school to do the things that they wanted to do. But if you check their stories, you'd find out that a lot of these people were actually privileged people. Jeff Bezos had his parents give him hundreds of thousands of dollars when he was starting out Amazon. There's a difference between somebody that dropped out of Harvard and somebody that wants to drop out of some unknown school. Because to have gone to Harvard means that you're a privileged person in the first place. So my advice to you is, if you believe that what you want to do in the future does not require the course you probably have or the course that you found yourself, my advice to you is to do what I did. I was in that situation. Do that course. Do your best to get the best result you can get away from that course. But once you are doing it, continue to do on the side that thing that you want to do. Continue to spend the time to learn it. Continue to, whatever you need to read about it, wherever you need to go, whatever you need to see about that thing, continue to do it. Because even though in your generation and in today's world, certificates have been deprioritized, more often than not, certificates are also what gets through the door. More often than not, when they announce job openings and things like that, they say somebody that finished 2-1 or first class or whatever. Even for some scholarships, you need to be a graduate. So I'm never going to advise you to drop out of school for any reason. All I'm going to say is that go to school. And also that certificate gives you an extra option. And life is about more choices. The difference between somebody that has no clothes and somebody that has many clothes is choices. So the more the choices you have in life, the better your life. Somebody has a car, but the person that has a car and a helicopter has more choices. The person that has a jet, a helicopter, and a car has more choices. So in life, you want to increase your capacity to have more choices. So going to university and then learning that skill on the other side increases your choices. So my answer in a nutshell is to still go to school, get a certificate, and then continue to increase your chances with the other things that you're interested in that don't necessarily need you to graduate from school, so that you can have more choices and have the capacity to be able to choose more when the future comes.
Okay, sir. Sir, you were talking about you having it. Can you hear me, sir?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, maybe speak louder too. Thank you.
Okay, sir. So you were talking about you having a business abroad, but like you say you won't be going there, you have to stay here. But that's you have to like have skills or something. Like what do you mean by you have to have the skills to be able to function like that, operate like that? Nobody.
Okay, so I mentioned during my engagement that you should go on the internet. And don't just do that today. Do that consistently. Do that in the next 2 weeks. Do that next year. Do that in the next 5 years. Do that in 15 years. Do that consistently. Ask Google, what are the jobs of the future? So if you're 10 now, if you're 10 years old now, the jobs of the future are jobs that are in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, when you'll be 20. When I was in secondary school, they were teaching us shorthand, how to write in shorthand. And they were teaching us how to use typewriter. At that time, computers were already taking the center stage in other countries. Of course, I've never used shorthand anywhere in the world. I've never had reason to use shorthand. Could they have better used that time to get us more used to computers? I think they should have. But they didn't. But now you have an opportunity because we didn't have Google. You have Google. You have Google. So go on the internet. Ask what are the skills. Some of those skills are I cannot list everything, but I know, for instance, if you can code, and you can code very, very well, you are good to go anywhere in the world. And then you also have to learn some coding languages according to their capacity and what they can do. You are good to go anywhere in the world. If you are a designer who can build the best website and best graphic interface for apps and stuff like that, you are good to go. If you are able to make sense of data in the future, data analyst, you are good to go. If you know how to get data, how to gather data, you are good to go. If you know how to program data, you are good to go. One other skill that will always be useful is the ability to speak, public speaking. You are good to go. Learning how to engage people with emotional intelligence and stuff like that, you are good to go. Mental health has become a big issue globally, and it will continue to be for the foreseeable future because of how the world continues to form and change. So being a psychiatrist, being a coach, you are good to go. Like I said, I cannot list everything there. Look, it's the responsibility of each individual to go learn these things by themselves. I learned them by myself. You have to go and learn it. I can only share some of the ideas with you. Ultimately, you must be responsible for your own learning. Right. So learn these skills and you will realize that your opportunities are not just limited to one country, they are global in nature. And you can choose. You can decide today, okay, I don't want to work for Microsoft again. I want to work for Google. And then you can wake up tomorrow morning and say, no, I want to start my own company. Learning and knowing things and being skilled gives you that power. Next question, please.
Okay. Okay. Sheyi has a question.
Sir, you said something about excuses. So, sir, there are scenarios that like they happen like back to back. You are not giving it. It actually happened, but people around you.
Hello. Hello.
Okay. Can you hear us now?
Can you help me repeat the question, please?
Okay. Repeat.
Okay, so you said something about excuses, so like giving excuses. So I'm like there are certain like scenarios that occur, like you have something to achieve, but incidents happen and you can't achieve it, like and you're called back to back, and it's like a coincidence or something. But like, how do you get yourself out of that? And like, how do you explain? Because people are like, you are making excuses, but you are not actually making excuses. So what do you do?
Very good question. Thank you very much. So, c'est la vie. It is life. It is life, right? And in life, things happen. In life, accidents happen. People lose their mother. People lose their father. People's fathers get sacked. People get chased out by their landlord. A flood happens, moves the house away. Those things happen. Your responsibility is not to dwell on those things. So it's okay when these things happen and you start to cry and you start to feel very bad and you start to feel pain. You should allow yourself to express that pain or whatever feeling comes with that thing. You should allow yourself to do it, right? Allow yourself to do it. But you should avoid dwelling in it. There's a song that I remember. It says, if you catch hell, don't hold it. If you are going through hell, don't stop. Keep going. Keep moving. Because at the end of that trial, then there is opportunities to achieve the things that you desire. There's hardly a situation where you repeatedly keep falling if you're refusing to stay down. So I understand your question. I understand that there are situations that are really and truly, people have to understand that it was not your fault. But after that thing, you have to pick yourself up, though. You have to. You must refuse to stay down. You must refuse to stay down. You must refuse to let go of yourself. At no point in your life should you resign and say, well, I've tried, I'm not doing it again. At no point. You must never let go. You can rest after being beaten by something, after losing, after failing. You can rest, but you must decide, okay, next week I'm picking myself up again, or tomorrow morning I'm picking myself up again. And I speak from experience. Life will throw things at you. There will be bad news, but you must never let go, because the future rests on your shoulders. There are people that need to be hired for jobs that you will be creating. There are families that will need their rent to be paid that you will help to pay. There are businesses that will need money to support, that will need people to support them, that you will help to support in the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. You cannot afford to fail, because a lot is expected of you. On account of, for starters, the world that you found yourself, it's a world of, there are many bad things happening, but there are many good things happening at the same time. And you must ask yourself, you must choose what you see per time. There is pessimism in the air, but you must look out for optimism. There is a lot of negativity out there, but you must look out for the positives. One person goes to a city, all of them don't have shoes, they are walking on their feet. He goes back and says, wow, that's a crazy city. They don't have shoes in that city. They just walking bare feet, nothing. They don't even have clothes. They're all walking naked. Another person goes to that city, sees them, they are naked, they don't have shoes, goes back home, goes to make shoes, collaborated with other people, brought shoes, makes money. The same problem, different people saw them differently. And that's how you must see it. That's how you must see. That's how you must see life, to identify the opportunities in these situations that other people call woe, that you call opportunity. I cannot say that enough. But after all that done, you must also commit to learning. On learning certain things that you've learned that you should not, that are not good for your mind. Learning new things to make your mind work better, and then relearn some other things that are so good. Some of the things that you must relearn and the things that you've heard today from all the people that have spoken, and also yesterday, you must go and relearn them, because you will forget them. Because life will happen. You will prepare for exams. Things will happen. You will forget them. So you must constantly put yourself in situations where you're hearing these things. Motivation and words like this are like fuel for cars. Cars will always need fuel, whether it is fossil fuel like petrol or electric fuel. The engine needs to be driven. So your mind also needs the fuel. And if you're not intentional about what you take in, then it means that you're allowing anything to go in, and you cannot afford that.
Sir, does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Mojowa. Just give us one last, shall I say, a last word for us to go by today. And as you're doing that, I don't know if you can give us like top 3 courses or tech skills that you think the kids of nowadays should learn, or teenagers should learn.
There are no top 3. I already mentioned the different ones. There are hundreds of people in this space. They have different abilities. They have different skills. They have different interests. The top 3 for me cannot be the top 3 for every other person, right? So you must go out of your way to identify what your interests are, and make sure that those interests have commercial uses in the future. So people are going to be willing to pay for those skills. You cannot just say, I want to do this thing, and nobody can pay for it. Those things must have commercial uses, and then you must go out of your way to learn them. They are bound. Go on Google and search for them. I cannot tell you a top 3, because top 3 is subjective. It's not objective. It's subjective. But there are skills around data. There are skills around human experience. There are skills around the mind, the brain, human behavior, and other such skills. Technology. Learn them. Identify them. And don't try to learn everything. Just learn one, try and be so good at that one, and then continue to get better and get better. And if you need to learn another one after you've become skilled, go learn. If you've learned a particular programming language, add another one, become an expert, just make sure that you're so solid at something that when they call people that can do it, they are one of those people. I'm not big on last words because I'm not done speaking. And I also think that if somebody was listening to me or listening to other people that have been speaking, there's no last word that is going to be so powerful than the things that have already been said. So please go out there, focus your mind, get a journal, write things that empower your mind, that empower you, and take action. Take action. Start the use of Google and use Google better. Start paying. Back in the days, I used to go to Ikeja Under Bridge to buy cheap books. They were used books, they were cheap, and they helped change my life. To tomorrow, I'm very, very committed to reading and other sort of things that will help me learn more about the world, that give me more choices and more opportunities. And I'm never going to stop, ever. Never ever going to stop. Right. And that's what you must do. So let me just close it here, right? The kind of friends you choose matter, the kind of things you read matter, how you spend your time matters, taking action matters, and never letting go matters. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So,
my pleasure.
All right, guys. That's it for today. I know you enjoyed today's session. I mean, beautiful. Didn't you? You enjoyed today's session? It was fantastic. So, who's your favorite? Everybody.
I think I'll go with last.
Omojua, right? Who is your favorite? Kafi. Yeah, of course, Kafi. All right. Thank you all for all those who had questions online. We see your questions. We thank you for dropping those questions. If you have more questions, drop them. We'll try to pass them to these facilitators and they will respond to you much later. Thank you once again. Follow us on Instagram at Focus Counseling with a double L, and on YouTube, Focus Counseling 1L. We appreciate all our partners and friends, Wema Bank, Right Foods, Mycolo, who else? Okay, who else? Okay, everybody, we appreciate you all. We appreciate you. All our volunteers, representatives, thank you very much for making this possible, and all our facilitators as well. We appreciate you for taking out time from your busy schedule. Yes, a round of applause for them. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And tomorrow is the last day. It sounds sad. We should continue like forever, Abby. But everything has an end. So tomorrow is the last day, guys. Join in. And yeah, it's also a Friday. I think all those have been coming early. So your gifts, you get them tomorrow. So also come tomorrow early enough and get your friends to join us online as well. Thank you very much. I'm Raphael. All right. Boss. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a nice one. Bye.